Calling the meeting to order at 7:47, excuse me, 7:47.
Go try again.
Okay. Calling the meeting to order at 7:48. If you could stand for the pledge of allegiance. Oh, I'm sorry. In accordance with the open meeting law, the board states for the record that this meeting is being recorded by NORCAM and may be recorded by other local media. Now, if you can, please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to jump right in. Mr. Tyler.
Mr. Warner, could I just...
Oh, sorry,
Mr.
excuse me,
Chairman.
yes.
So just a quick update for everybody who is attending in the room here and online. First, in the room, you see we have a little bit of a different configuration. We've removed a couple of the tables on either end of the rostrum here. The idea is to bring us in a little bit more closely to both the microphones and to the owl for purposes of picking up audio in light of some of the concerns that we've heard. We've also moved the podium back to a place it sat for a long time in the corner here for anyone from the public who needs to speak. It is still wired both for in-room sound and for NORCAM. I believe, Eddie, you do have a microphone over there, right? So we're hoping that improves things, but again, I would encourage everybody, the board members, folks who are at that table, folks who are at the podium, please speak right into the microphone. It really does make a difference in terms of the sound here in the room and outside. The second change I will note is that you'll see that we are using Microsoft Teams for, I think, the second time since 2020 when we started using virtual technology. First time, we didn't really like the way that it went, and so we reverted back to Zoom maybe 3-4 years ago at this point. We're doing so because primarily, we are consolidating onto a Microsoft platform here, and we have been over the past couple of years. We are using Microsoft Teams for many of our public meetings and for nearly every internal meeting now. There's also a cost savings opportunity because access to Teams is included in our Microsoft suite rather than the additional cost of going with Zoom. It's not going to be perfect. Sorry, I apologize in advance, but I do have, I'm fortunate that we have the IT director, Mr. Cooper, is here in the office in the back there to help us with any technological issues that we might have. As Mr. Wallner indicated, you are being recorded both by NORCAM and by Microsoft Teams. And we will do our best to work through. The thing I will say for those attending virtually, if you are seeking recognition, the custom I think has been to try to unmute yourself or to send a chat message. What we are recommending you do is use the raise hand function if you're seeking recognition. And again, that'll be at selected points on the agenda when we're taking comment from the public. Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael, for setting that up. Hopefully, we'll get some feedback from you that this is working, not working, or it's about the same. Okay, let's continue on. Mr. Tyler, please.
Mr. Chairman, proclamation Marjorie Flott Day in North Reading. Mr. Chairman, I move to proclaim July 6, 2026 as Marjorie Flott Day in the town of North Reading and to approve the associated proclamation.
Second. Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any comments from the board?
Well, first of all, congratulations to her for reaching 100 years, and I also want to say that I am honored to share the same day for birthday. Hers is just a few years ahead of me, but
Today's your birthday?
no, the 29th of June was her birthday, and but quite a milestone. And from what my understanding is, the employee who gave her a ride to the June 24th celebration of June birthdays at the senior center, Mr. Connors gave her a ride, so she was just an absolute delight. She was with it, and again, physically able to get herself in and out of the van, and talkative, and totally awestruck with what was happening, and was just elated and totally taken by surprise, and was delighted with the time she had at the senior center and the celebration that was had for not just her, but all the June birthdays, but particularly her, and wonderful lady, lovely lady. And, congratulations, Marjorie. And,
I didn't know her personally. Anybody from, usually I don't do this, but if anybody from the sitting here would like to comment about what happened at the senior center? or anything else like
Jackie,
that?
you
No, I didn't know her personally, but I was there that afternoon, and she was lovely. And I would walk behind her coming up the ramp, and I didn't know her until I entered the building behind her. And she was just, it's unbelievable that she's 100 years old, and the decades she's been through, and the change. And yeah, we had a lovely celebration. I think she really enjoyed herself. And there was a lot of people around, and flowers and balloons, and the transcript did a nice write-up on her
Yeah,
page.
great.
So
Great write-up.
I'm happy that you got the recognition of 100 years.
Great.
No words of wisdom that you could share. Yeah.
That's her word of wisdom. I'm not going to give you my word of wisdom because it doesn't apply unless it's you. All right, would you like to read the proclamation, please?
Certainly.
Oh, do we vote on it right after?
Proclamation. Whereas Marjorie A. Flott was born on June 29th, 1926, and whereas she is celebrating the remarkable milestone of her 100th birthday, and whereas Marjorie was born in Boston and raised in Revere, where she lived for most of her life before moving to North Reading, and whereas she has been a resident of North Reading for the past 5 years and appreciates the strong sense of community and convenience the town provides, and whereas she is the proud mother of 3 children, Catherine, Robert, and Dorothy, and has shared a lifetime of love with her family. And whereas Marjorie enjoys reading, especially mysteries and romance novels, and previously enjoyed crocheting as a hobby. And whereas her life experiences, dedication to family, and longevity are an inspiration to all. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of North Reading, do hereby proclaim July 6, 2026, as Marjorie Flott Day in the town of North Reading, and urge all citizens to join us in wishing Marjorie a very happy 100th birthday and continued good health and happiness.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? It's unanimous.
Town administrator will make sure that the presentation is made.
Yes.
for Marjorie, right?
Mhm. We'll
Great.
find the appropriate time to do so.
Great. All right, let's go on to board member reports. Who would like to start it off?
I have very little to report, other than, I would just like to mention the passing of Joe Murphy, who was a longtime member of the zoning board of appeals here in North Reading, who moved out of town, longtime resident of North Reading, moved out a few years back, great contributing member.
We can't hear you, Ms. Broder.
Really, that's the biggest thing. This is supposed to help. But anyway, I'm just mentioning the passing of Joe Murphy, a longtime resident of North Reading, who passed away just recently. Joe was a longstanding member of the zoning board of appeals, which, as many of you know, is basically a pressure relief valve for people who are looking to do things in their home when there's some zoning issues and variances that need to be done. And Joe was a very compassionate individual who really worked hard to ensure that people were able to utilize their property, live within the law here within the community, and grant variances where they could. But a wonderful fellow, passed away suddenly and unexpectedly, and it's unfortunate. And but a great member of the community. I just wanted to mention his passing and note the appreciation that we have for his service to the community.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Ms. Moore?
I do not have anything.
Okay. Mr. Tyler?
I don't have anything either today.
Okay. Mr.
Chairman,
Massey?
a few things. Just want to, this is our first time having board member reports since Memorial Day, so I just wanted to say that was a terrific day and a terrific ceremony. Glad the rain held off, and really just always impressed by the ceremony that the Minute Militia put on here in town. There was a flag burning ceremony, an American flag burning ceremony on June 13th, Saturday, by the Wilmington Minute Militia. Our own Rich Stratton was involved in the festivities. It's a ceremony that properly retires the American flags. So I was happy to be in attendance there. There was a fire department memorial ceremony. That was a terrific morning held on June 14th, my birthday. And happy to take part in that and attend the breakfast as well. And there was a Jimmy Fund golf. It was a busy weekend that weekend. The Jimmy Fund golf event on June 15th, Monday, before our select board meeting, to support great cause. The honoree this year was Brady Cullen, who, as I mentioned last year, is a young man that is recovering from brain cancer, and he's been an integral part of the North Reading baseball community. So, very busy weekend. I had some time since our last board member report, so just wanted to catch up on some things.
Thank you for that update. I'll just remind everybody, the Tax Aid Committee this is the second year they're offering the Circuit Breaker Match Program, which is basically if you qualify for the Massachusetts Circuit Breaker in 2025, you can get up to half of that extra from the town if you qualified. There are some requirements. You can't have mansions and everything else like that, but if you are of modest means and you already qualified for the Massachusetts Circuit Breaker, then more than likely you can also be qualified for the Town of North Reading Circuit Breaker Match Program. So we were a little disappointed last year. We only had like 26 people who signed up for it, and that is in comparison to about 400 people who actually got a circuit breaker match from the state. So I think it's just a really big level of just trying to get the word out. So any way you can communicate it would be great. If you're looking for some language, you can go to the Tax Aid Committee website. On the town website, you can find it there, or you can get a hold of the assessor's office and they give that to you as well, or I could do it as well. Anybody who's on that would be glad to help out. But it'd be really nice if people would take advantage of opportunities like these so that they stay in town and don't leave. And that's all I have. Any old and new business? Usually we put that all together.
I just want to comment, if people
Sure.
see me texting this evening, it's because I'm getting updates on my granddaughter's status, so don't take it as being rude. Thank you. She had a procedure today, so she's in good hands.
It's been a long haul for Steve. Public comment. Anybody like to have public comment, please come up over here.
I don't want to speak on the public comment, and I just wanted to ask you first.
Can I just ask you, just like us, can you get really close to the microphone? So I have a
Sure,
really
can
tough time
can you
hearing.
hear? Any
That's
better? Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's better.
Under public comment, if we have questions under any of these other questions, rather than ask any questions about it now, can we kind of reserve our time if we choose we want to speak after them? I don't know, a lot of times.
Yeah, to answer your question, I'm probably going to be someone who's more liberal about that happening.
Okay.
But if it becomes abused, I'll probably dial it back.
No,
But
okay, thank
I can see why there'd be some discussions in
No,
here.
thank you.
And I'd like to hear some of
Sometimes
your
I know we're
comments.
trying to fly through things.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you bet. No problem.
There is one hand raised by Kathy S. I'm going to see if I can allow the microphone, which I can. You should be able to unmute yourself, Kathy.
Hello, I'm Kathy Sumner, 53 Swamp Pond Road. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm calling to ask about the plastic bags for the trash. Is there any way that people who are disabled or who can't push the trash barrels, can they buy the bags and put them on the curb?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think the request is in lieu of a barrel, can somebody place the bag curbside?
Yes, thank you.
And so we have had some conversation with Casella, and at this point in time, they will be looking to collect from a barrel first at each property. So that would make the answer to the question at this time, no, but it is something that we are going to continue to monitor as we go through the next few weeks. And also as we look, again, we'll be swapping out the 96 gallons for 64-gallon barrels for folks who have made that request as well. But Kathy, we'll
Are
take
you
that
gonna
back
have
to Casella and evaluate it
32?
further, okay?
Are you gonna have 32?
No, not at this time. That's something we may look at in the future, but right now, we'll be limited to 64 as an alternative.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. not seeing any, Mr. Chairman.
Mrs. Campbell.
Oh, yes, please, come on forward.
Barbara Campbell, 13 Hillside Road. Speaking about the trash, I live in the Martins Pond area, and our first pickup with Casella was Friday morning. And I conscientiously walked around my immediate neighborhood just to ensure that everybody had the barrels positioned correctly and whatever, only to find out that it was a smaller Casella truck that came, and there was a driver and a man who got off and physically emptied the baskets. Is the town aware that that has happened, at least in the Martins Pond area?
If you're asking, are we aware that there may have been collections that were not automated?
Correct.
Yes, yeah, that's not, I mean, I can't say I'm aware of the specific spot, but that is something that we expected at times may happen, yes.
Okay, and
And I don't know that that will be the case every week.
right. What the worker said to me is that they were concerned about the size of the huge automated truck being able to go down some streets. And yes, in the Martins Pond area specifically, in my end, the streets are very narrow. 2 cars cannot pass, and it's difficult to make some 90-degree turns onto streets and whatever. But anyway, he basically said to continue placing the barrels a minimum 3 feet apart and so forth, that it might be the big truck someday. And can we be alerted at some point when it might be the bigger truck, or do you not know?
I don't want to, so we didn't ask the question of Casella of exactly how it's going to be, because I think they're going to be figuring things out just as much as we are over the next few weeks. But the directive for all of us is to assume an automated truck is coming to collect, have the barrel at the curb with the handle facing away from the street, and roughly 3 feet between the 2 barrels. And that's the surest way to make sure when the truck does show up, it will be able to collect from your street.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Set?
It looks so online, yes.
Okay, let's move on to Pledge of Collateral. Road 28 Lucky Mark.
Okay. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I believe Attorney Perlman is here on behalf of the applicant, so I'm going to recognize him to provide an explanation with regard to the request. This is not a public hearing based upon the nature of the application. It's exclusively for the pledge of collateral for the license. Attorney Perlman, you should be able to unmute yourself now. Attorney Perlman, are you able to unmute yourself?
Should we move on and come back?
We could, yeah, we could.
Let's do
There's no notice time for this.
All right, let's move on to 3 Washington Street. Would you like to introduce that?
I'll just give a very brief introduction, and I'll turn it over to any of the board members that wish to speak with regard to this. But the town has been approached by the current owner of 3 Washington Street to provide an option for the town to pursue acquiring the property if it so chooses. And so this is something that came up after the last regular meeting on June 15th and now. And so we have it on as an agenda item for public discussion in an effort to bring the community up to speed with regard to the proposal. And I do see Attorney Perlman does appear to be unmuted if we want to.
All right, let's do that. Let's
Okay.
stop for a second. We will reintroduce that. 3 Washington Street.
I should be on.
Yes,
You
can hear
are.
you now.
Am I on?
Yes.
Good morning.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was talking to myself. Thank you. Anyway, my name is Arthur Perlman. I'm an attorney. I represent Aria and Julie Inc. They're looking for you to approve a pledge of license to Rockland Trust to secure a $350,000 loan that the corporation is taking.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I'll just add that application from our standpoint appeared to be in order with regard to the proposal. The only question I had, I'm not even sure if it's an appropriate one, is if there's anything that the applicant or through you, the applicant could share with regard to the collateralization in terms of a reason for that.
I'm sorry, was that a question for me?
Yes, Attorney Perlman. I was asking why the request for the pledge?
Oh, so they can do stuff with inventory, and if they want to do some other work at the store, they'll have some funds, but they're trying to get a little more liquid for the business.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody have any comment about that?
No, Mr. Chairman, just as a matter of course, businesses that have licenses such as this establishment does are required to come to the board in order to pledge the license as collateral for a loan. They need approval from the licensing authority, which is us. So this is more or less a routine matter when it comes to the general operations of an establishment such as this. And so, again, as Attorney Perlman pointed out, they're just looking for our approval to pledge their license to the lending institution as collateral for the loan that they're seeking. So,
What would be the loss if, let's say, they didn't follow through?
if the town, the loss to us is that the establishment wouldn't have the cash flow necessary to, again, as the attorney pointed out, put money up front for inventory or improvements to the business. Just from a cash flow standpoint, there's slow times a year, so I assume this is a line of credit. So what they're going to be doing is using this as a cash flow method in order to get through and continue to operate the business in an efficient manner.
So the business would fail, basically.
Mr. O'Leary, can I add one other thing?
Sure.
That, don't forget, by us pledging it to the bank, all that means is that we can't give it to someone else. They can't do anything with that without your approval. In other words, if God forbid, somebody who borrowed the money failed to pay it back, they could foreclose on that, and that would give them the right to try to sell the business to someone else and then try to convey the liquor license to them, but they'd have to come right back before you, and you would have to say yes or no, that you're going to allow that to be transferred, just as if we were going to sell the business. Whoever we sold it to would have to come before you and ask if you would approve the transfer to them. So it doesn't take anything away from your board.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Correct. And again, Mr. Chairman, I was just looking to clarify because we have some members of the board who aren't long tenured here and may not have come across this request. And as you sit here over the course of several more years, and I hope it's many more years for all of you, you'll see these requests coming through on a routine basis.
Okay. Any comment at all? Other than that? Okay, let's go to the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the pledge of collateral for Aria and Julia, Inc., doing business as Route 28 Lucky Mart at 202 North Street.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Perlman?
Thank you very much.
Attorney Perlman?
Yes,
Just, it's more of a sound check. Can you hear us on your end?
I can hear you,
You
yes.
can hear.
Occasionally you break up, but I can
Okay.
basically hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next topic, which is 3 Washington Street. Michael, would you like to give us a brief? Just to
Sure,
get started?
so I'll just restate what I said earlier, which is that the owner of the property at 3 Washington Street has provided the board an opportunity to potentially bring forward to the town an acquisition of the property, to purchase the property. And so this is the first regular meeting we've had since this came to light toward the end of June. And so we put this on the agenda as an opportunity for the board members to provide information and update with regard to this opportunity about this property. And so I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman, or to whoever would like to speak.
Yeah, so we just learned about this like the last week or two. And the person who's selling it has given us kind of a first look, if you will. I think the whole board has walked through and done a quick look. A few other people I know have gone through and looked at it as well. The structure itself appears to be quite suitable for being rehabbed. As Mr. Massey likes to say, it has good bones, which means it has good I-beam structure. Doesn't need a lot of columns, so it's really could be a wide open space, and it looks really good. So the goal would be to fast track this one and to get through, do all of our due diligence, and potentially come to town meeting in October with a plan and to seek the support from the town in order for us to acquire. Wouldn't be an eminent domain, it'd be an acquisition, we'd just be buying it. And we'd obviously give any kind of, if there's any risk about the property, we should know it by then, and so we could make an informed choice. The property itself is 11,000 square feet of total interior space that could be used. And it's at 3 Washington is, you probably already know where it is. It used to sell carpets there. It's a construction company. There's a little bit of frontage and there's side where you can park, and in the back you can park as well. So not necessarily a lot of parking, but enough for what we need to do. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Anybody want to add on to? I can add on to about the committee afterwards, but anything you want to add to that?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
So it's the chairman pointed out, and the town administrator, we were approached by the listing broker over the weekend, 2 weekends ago, that the property was going to be available for sale and that the owner was willing to give the town the right of first refusal on it. And the broker was also willing to, at anybody's convenience, as far as the members of the board and other members of various committees and town officials, a quick walkthrough to see if there was an interest. We've been informed that the owner is willing to wait as far as listing of the property publicly until the town makes a firm determination as to whether we have a true interest or not. Again, as the chairman pointed out, it's 11,000 square feet on an acre and a half of land. It is certainly well suited for a senior center. And it's 11,000 square feet with a significant amount of potential in relation to however we want to do for layout, with what I believe to be adequate parking. And it's something that I believe we strongly should consider taking advantage of this opportunity that's being presented to us to do it on a fast track. And as the chairman pointed out, forming a committee to specifically look at this particular site to determine whether or not it's feasible, something that we want to bring to town meeting for consideration to move forward with. And in fairness to the owner, letting them know quickly whether or not that's how we're going to proceed. So the idea would be to form a committee quickly and move forward to make a determination as to whether or not we want to do that. Be fair and upfront with the owner because he's being very fair with us in relation to giving us the right of first refusal, and move forward. So it's a terrific opportunity, and again, a gesture that is greatly appreciated, that we have the right of first refusal. And I think the site itself has a significant amount of potential, positive, forward-looking usage for us as a senior center and potentially senior intergenerational center. Again, it isn't the total square footage that we're looking for necessarily in the facilities master plan, but it's certainly better than the 2,400 square feet that the senior center is currently enjoying on the first floor of the third meeting house. So, rather excited about taking advantage of the opportunity and appreciate the offer that's being made to the town and I think we should all be grateful for that. Embrace it and move forward and see what we can find out, whether it works or not.
Thank you. Any other impressions from everybody who did a tour of the property?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
So I'll
Yes.
just add, my recommendation to the board, and I've shared this with some of you. I think, that it would make sense for us to look to the funding that we previously sought at town meeting last October relative to a senior or intergenerational center, and to the extent we can, on the timeline that we need to work under, which we believe would be for a warrant article at October town meeting, try to conduct some high-level evaluation of what would be required for us for both short and potentially long-term improvements at the property for our use for the purposes that we've described here. So, that's something that I think making available, should we go in the direction of a committee, or if not, either way, I think having that information for town meeting to make a decision, I think would be helpful, in terms of the building itself and what we think we might need to do in order to meet our needs. So it's not going to be as detailed as I think any of us would like it to be based upon the timeline, but at least with the time we have, trying to come up with this information, I think could be to our benefit. We do have relationships with owner's project manager and designer firms that we would look to capitalize on for a scope to do this work, again, potentially alongside a site evaluation committee, to provide information to the extent we can for October. Thank you.
Good. So I'll just add, now for the committee itself, my plan was to, before I even knew this was happening, was to work on the committee that we've been looking for 6, 7 months now. But as soon as this became available, this is the start of our committee, because we just have a limited amount of time. So the goal of this committee is to evaluate suitability, for a future senior center / intergenerational community center, get cost estimates on the purchase of the existing property, provide cost estimates on rehab of the existing property to match our objectives, and if the committee so recommends, bring this forward at the October town meeting of 10/26. If it doesn't work out, the long-term plan is to then double back and then go after other properties if we can find them. So it's one leads to the other. It's almost, if it doesn't happen, we had a good dress rehearsal. If it does happen, we're good. We got it set. So that was kind of that was the intent of doing that. The members of the committee will be one member of the select board, one from Parks and Rec, one from LUC, maybe one from CPC. I'll leave that up to the person who runs it. Vet Services, one, Youth Services, one, or Public Service Director acting in dual capacity, Council of Aging Director, and then a Finance Director as we need it. So all the essential people, plus 2 citizen, we wanted 2 citizens join the board as well. So that would be the committee. And my plan is, the person who can best do this from the select board is my colleague, Mr. O'Leary. He's had a lot of experience in doing this kind of thing, especially going fast. We can't make any fumbles. I'd be happy to do it, but I think Steve O'Leary is the best person to do it, so I've asked him to take on the leadership for this particular committee to get us through October. After that, things can be readjusted if we had to, but just to get us through to October, I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just a couple things to add. We did talk a little bit at the staff level with regard to the committee. I think I'm concerned about having the finance director named as a committee member at this time of year, because she's doing a lot with closing out fiscal year 26 and trying to open up fiscal year 27 and then get us prepared for town meetings.
Yep.
So if it would be okay to not list her as a member, but to the extent she's needed when that moment comes, so make herself available.
That was my intent.
But I just don't want to set the expectation knowing that she's one person and there's a lot on her plate at this time of year. There's a lot on her plate every time, the entire year. But this is particularly challenging as we get one budget closed out, another budget come up. We're trying to get an audit in front of you guys too. So, and then the other thing is, whether or not the board would consider a representative of the Council on Aging as well, rather than just the director.
Oh.
So something you may wish to
Yeah,
consider as well.
in my mind, that's fine. I mean,
I'm sorry, I didn't get to talk
Mr.
before.
O'Leary's going to lead it, so,
Yeah.
but, we can certainly make adjustments to what's down here.
Mr. Chairman, through you, the
Yes.
Council on Aging Director is listed on this motion tonight.
Yeah, my thinking is, do we want, rather than, well, I know the director is fully capable of providing information. Do we want a member of the Council on Aging to be
Oh,
part
you
of
said
this?
member, understood,
Yeah.
okay. Yep.
That's my,
Yeah.
again, for the board's thought.
I'm not a very formal person.
Hmm?
I like concepts. Okay, we good? Yeah, it looks like we're good here. Did you have a comment that you wanted to make about this? Yes, please, yeah.
I thought Rita was going to talk about the recovery assistance program.
I haven't recovered yet.
You're interested in seeing that?
Can you hear me okay? Thank
Just
you.
as close as you can get it, please, yeah.
Okay. I did get a chance to see the property and walk it also. And it was, exciting to see another property and wonderful owners, et cetera. I just have, where we have looked at an awful lot of different sites, to be fair to the whole public and to think about going right ahead with it. There are other pieces of properties that we did look at. My question is on this one here, is it going to be just a senior center, senior rec center, intergenerational center? And if we don't know those, or even in the next 6 months, I think it would be important for the selectmen to know the other pieces of property we looked at, because we've already, come to the process of going through missing 8 months that we could have been doing something on it, to at least give you the committees. There was an exit interview committee that passed on information to the selectmen, I think, in November. So I just think that at this point, we absolutely should look at the other pieces of property, so to give some faith back to the community that we have looked at these and not just this property. And yet, when I went, liked the idea of it, looks of it, looked like you could do recreation and a senior center. But if it just becomes a senior center, what happens to the idea that we were going to look for an intergenerational center? If we come back, is it saying we close the door because we've done it here and we could only put a senior center in there? And the other thing is, I question, and I guess if we do a feasibility study, we would know how many parking spots there are, because it's not just to have 10 or 20 more than we had before. So it makes a big difference to the committees that have studied it already, because we've been studying it for 8 years, some of the groups, and a lot of the groups in the past 2 years that it didn't get brought up last October when we talked about it. So it's like, again, the people were wonderful when we looked at them. I appreciated them letting everybody in before then. But I think to be fair to the people and to regain some trust in a lot of us, a lot of the committees, boards, and that means all of us, that we talk together, because every one question has 15 more to follow.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, just one comment about that. The wonderful thing about the existing property at 3 Washington is that, same as it was at, the Stop and Shop, the old Stop and Shop, right, is that you're rehabbing a building which saves you 40% off of the cost. And that's a big deal.
Well, I think until, again, we do a complete study on it to find out exactly what the numbers are and take a look at some other pieces of property are there. And then when we make the decision, everybody understands the properties we've looked at, why we've gone
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and the thoughtfulness of this owner to come forward now and tell us the time.
Yeah.
But it's important, I think, that we look at properties that we have looked at before also, to get an idea. If this one goes through in October, what happens with the other ideas that we had?
Yeah.
You don't have to answer tonight, it's just throwing it out there, somebody that just, committees that think, so you understand how much other work has gone into everything and know we're making a great decision, good decision, or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rita.
Barbara Campbell. I partially agree with some of the things that Rita is talking about. My understanding is that 3 Washington Street is 11,000 square feet. Originally, when we put out an RFP last fall, or earlier this year, February, the RFP, I believe, was looking for 30,000 square feet, and that was to be used as a community center for the elder services, the veterans, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you look at 30,000 square feet for all those groups versus 11,000 square feet. I cannot fathom that 11,000 square feet would work as an intergenerational community center for all of those departments. I feel it might be justifiable just as a community center for the seniors. So what do we do? And why do we have, well, we've got all the other departments who would be on this evaluation committee, but the first conclusion they would all come to is there's not sufficient space, 11,000 square feet for everybody.
Just-
What do we do then?
Just the RFPs that were put out were for the senior center only. It wasn't for the intergenerational center.
All right,
You're getting the 30,000 square foot figure basically from the facilities master plan, which is an intergenerational senior center, whole thing, basketball courts, all the rest, 30,000 square feet. What we put out, Michael, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but was it 9,000? I think it was 9,000 square feet, 9 to 12,000 square feet or something like that for the RFPs for the senior center. So I don't recall exactly, but it was the smaller numbers, 8,000 or 9,000 square feet
right,
is
right,
what we were looking for, only, just for senior center.
all right.
But again, we'll,
Thought it was
you know,
15,000 square
But
feet.
again, my understanding is we are presenting 3 Washington Street as a potential intergenerational.
that's to be determined. I think what the committee will determine, based upon the input that we already have and more input we're going to be seeking on our fast track here, you know, programming-wise, what do we need for square footage for senior center and then for senior intergenerational center, knowing that it's not going to hit 30,000 square feet. So what of the differential are we going to be able to accommodate? And is that worthy of consideration to bring to town meeting for consideration? And if the determination is it's just not big enough or it's not really what we're looking to do, and at the same time, taking some of the information that Rita has talked about over the last several months as to what's available to us and we should be considering, you know, what do we really want to bring to the public for consideration in relation to expenditures to move forward? How much can we afford? Keeping in mind, you know, we're going to be asking the public for, you know, modular classrooms for the elementary schools. We're going to be looking for a fire station. We're going to be looking for renovations to other buildings, along with other infrastructure and road repairs and all the rest that has to be taken care of. But major projects, which are going to have to be done probably outside the confines of Proposition 2.5, what do we think the public's appetite is going to be? Fortunate for us, we have something that's really tangible that we can and should consider, which is going to force the other considerations to come forward.
Right.
And hopefully, and again, this is going to be very aggressive as far as the timeline for October town meeting, but we'll do the best we can here to provide the public with, you know, here's something tangible, this is what we believe can be done there, is this something we want to do? And we've looked at these other things which are going to be more costly in these other locations. Here you go, what do you want to do? And then the board will ultimately decide as to what's going to be on the warrant for consideration. So there's an awful lot to do in a very short period of time, and I think this opportunity provides us an impetus to really move it on the fast track and get it going
All right.
quickly.
Then my other question is, so this committee is formed, how soon do you expect the committee to have their first meeting?
Depending upon how we, looking for the liaison assignments to, you know, give each committee to give us a recommendation for a member. Depends on how quickly they can meet to determine who the recommended individuals would be. And then we have as far as the 2 citizens, we have some people that have already expressed input. We have a list of people who have already expressed input in serving on the committee that we'll be culling through and inviting them, and then the board will ultimately decide the other two members from the general public to participate. So hopefully we'll have a significant amount of project by our July 20th meeting. I can't guarantee that we'll have the full roster at that particular point in time, but hopefully we'll have enough to get a quorum going and then fill it as we meet and have it filled out. And in the meantime, we're going to start work now. getting consultants in place to take a look at the scope as to what we're looking to do, and then the committee will decide, once we're constituted, the scope of that. But we'll have a pretty good idea and suggestions for the committee to consider.
Okay, because obviously time is of the
Right,
essence.
we're not going to sit around and wait
Yeah.
very long
Okay.
at all.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
through you, just to clarify, from the request for proposals for senior center leased space, we just had said that we anticipated leasing approximately 9,000 to 15,000 square feet of space suitable for senior programming, offices, and related functions. So it's between 9 and 15,000 square feet.
And just two comments on that. One is the current senior center isn't going to go away. We're not closing the building. So we could repurpose that in some other way, and that would add on to 11,000, so we'd be up to, 13,000 basically square feet. The second thing, what I saw at the Lexington Intergenerational Community Center was it was busy from 9 to 3 with seniors. It was busy with kids from 3 to 9. And so you can, if, assuming we're going to have that kind of crossover, you can dual purpose rooms. I never saw the original site drawing, so I don't know what they look like, but I can definitely see a shift halfway through the day. And so that would also provide some relief as well. Okay, yes, please.
Hi, Valerie Schiavone, Greenbrier Drive.
Hi, Val.
Hi. I just wanted to remind those people out there that the current senior center is already functioning as a community center. The veterans use it, various other groups within town use it. So it really is a multi-purpose building already in its little variation that we have now. I have to say, Washington Street, I'm very excited to hear more about this and learn if this might work out, because the current iteration of the senior center, as we all know, requires a lot of logistics and management of time that could be better spent working with the seniors and working with the community at large.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
So we do have one person online.
Sure.
It's Kathy again. Let me see if I can. Kathy, you should be able to unmute yourself.
All right. Hi, it's just me again.
Hi, Kathy.
Now, are we, it's a silly question, but we're expected to have the town want to pass this override, pass the fire station override, pass the town hall override, pass a school override, pass another override. Shouldn't we just make an intergenerational center with the town hall in one location, like we have this winter? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I don't know quite how to answer
Save
that.
the town money?
I think
It's,
I can-
go ahead, Michael, please.
What I'll just say is, if the square footage allowed, sure, but, we're already
Yeah.
we are already at the low end of the range we self-identified for a senior center, so that would be, a concern. Not that we can't look at it, or couldn't look at it.
But we could build it at the town hall,
Build what at the town hall?
where the town hall is. We
Build-
could build an intergenerational center at the town hall.
Well, just so you know,
Including the town hall. We own that land.
I think it's a little bit more complicated than
Right?
that. Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Why?
Why? Because you're dealing with, square footage, you're dealing with properties that may or may not be owned by the town. You're dealing with what people need, functionality within the buildings. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's just easy to say, well, just build everything at the senior center. At the current town hall. It's not that easy. Town hall, first of all, would have to be all ripped down, because town hall is,
Yeah.
there's only one way. But then when you start talking about tearing down town hall, you start talking about serious expenses, capital expenses to be able to do that and to build out. And so then when you start talking about serious expenses, then the town has to support that. And there's a lot on the docket that the town is looking at that they need to support. So we also have to be efficient in how we have to prioritize, and we have to be efficient in how we fix our municipal buildings, which need to be fixed. And the senior center is clearly at one of the tops of the list, along with the fire station on Main Street, wherever that's going to be. So those are their top two, those are our top two priorities, without even getting into everything else. Yeah, so it sounds, what you're saying is great, but it comes with a lot of complications that are just not easily solved tonight. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I got a
Yes.
few comments. Just
Yes.
my only thought is, walking through that building, I think there was, maybe a discussion amongst a few of us that 3 Washington Street, I don't know how you're gonna fit an intergenerational center in there or a community center in there. I think a senior center would be great there, or moving a couple other departments over there if necessary, but I do not see how you are fitting a community center in that building. And just a reminder to everyone about how we bought 1 Central Street and haven't done anything with that too. So we do have options here in town to take from. Thank you.
All right, I think we're ready to move on. Do we have a vote? Do we have a motion, please?
Do we want to,
Yeah, there's been a few changes, right?
Yes, if you could replace finance director with council on aging member, I think that will achieve my feedback at least.
Yep. And CPC, are we going with that or not? We put a question mark on it.
yeah, I think there's a question mark. I think probably not at this point, but I don't know what role, from a,
I think the
I
CPC
think-
would provide a lot of value.
I mean,
So leave it
that's
on
fine,
for
yeah,
now.
we can leave them on, that's fine.
Ms. Mullen has not a comment.
What's that?
Ms. Mullen has not a comment.
They're gonna be, our staff people are going to be ad hoc. It's just like the finance director. In other words, they're gonna be at our disposal to be available to us. Same with the town engineer, building inspector, health inspector, all of them are gonna be available to us, where they don't necessarily have to show up from every meeting for us and be part of the quorum requirements to meet. So,
Yeah, my chief town authorizing citizens, right? So 2 town authorizing citizens.
I have
Do you need a
those.
motion? Does it say that?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay.
So just to clarify, I have, the update I have is a council on aging member as opposed to director. And are we keeping,
No, both. We're going to have both, member and director.
so we're gonna take the
I think
finance
that makes
director off and
sense.
just put in council on aging member.
finance director is read as
Representative.
needed in an advisory capacity, correct?
You don't even need to do that. You don't even need to do that,
You just
because she
leave
will
it
be
on. She'll
available.
be
So,
on.
so again, just put council on aging representative, as we have with other representatives.
And then do we appoint these people at the next meeting?
Sorry.
Do we appoint these folks at the next meeting?
I saw.
Hopefully,
Is this-
Yeah.
to the
Hopefully.
extent they're available to us.
Understood. Just a recommendation, Mr. Chair, too. It might be one of those committees that really wants to continue to walk through that space, like be a, boots on the ground, kind of see how you go.
And again, the goal is going to be get as many people who have an interest in it, to get them into the facility
Yeah.
quickly.
Right away, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify, I was asking about the finance director, are we keeping that?
Strike it
Strike the whole thing out.
and put in council on aging representative
Right.
instead.
And then community planning committee representative, are we keeping that?
That's fine.
All right,
Yep.
I think we're good to go here.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Select Board establish a site evaluation committee for the purpose of evaluating the property located at 3 Washington Street as potential future senior center, intergenerational community center, SC/IGCC, with the following charge and membership. Committee charge. The committee shall, 1, evaluate the suitability of 3 Washington Street as the future location of a senior center/intergenerational community center. 2, develop cost estimates for the acquisition of the existing property. 3, develop cost estimates for the rehabilitation and build-out of the existing property to meet the objectives and operational needs of a future SC/IGCC. 4, if the committee recommends proceeding with the project, prepare and submit recommendations, including any necessary town meeting articles, in sufficient time for consideration at the October 26th town meeting. Long-term responsibilities. Subject to town approval and direction, the committee may assist with the procurement, acquisition, rehabilitation, and build-out process for 3 Washington Street, evaluate alternative sites for future SC/IGCC should 3 Washington Street be determined unsuitable, or should the town decline to approve proposed acquisition and rehabilitation articles. The committee shall consist of the following members. 1 select board representative. 1 Parks and Recreation representative. 1 Land Use Committee representative. 1 Community Planning Committee representative. 1 Veteran Services representative. 1 Youth Services representative, if available. Public Services Director, Council on Aging Director and Representative, and 2 Town of North Reading citizens.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay? Unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I'm going to ask Mr. Cooper if he can come forward and try to address what seems to be a problem with the video and audio coming out of the owl. Do you want to do your thing there, Matt, before we take up the next agenda item? Do you want to call it recess, maybe?
Sure, we'll take a 5-minute recess. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Yeah. difficulty, please.
Let's try something different.
Can't believe we're missing the soccer game. You watch soccer?
Mike, you might need to let room 14 back in just a second if I don't connect automatically.
Now that you've come to Boston.
Looks like the U.S. tied it, and then they gave it up 2 minutes later. That sucks.
Fortunately, one of the
Same guy.
One of the side effects of having something that gets plugged in and unplugged frequently. I think
No, France is going to win.
this should be stable for the evening. Let's see how we go. I also noticed it was dimming off and on. I think we've solved the problem. Mike is on. Thank you, everyone, for the leave, and carry on.
Okay, we're good to go.
Okay.
Did you have to flip the switch again?
It's on.
It's on.
All right, moving on to selling of town-owned land.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chairman, there was quite a bit of information in the packet on June 15th. That information was then updated in the packet that was provided to you last Wednesday or Thursday, and even further updated in information that's in the supplemental packet this morning. Keep in mind that this list is an aggregation of requests going back multiple years. There was a stretch of time when we were working through the GLAM-associated issues that we were not considering these requests, so some of them are in here. I'm going to do my best to try to walk us through this process, but I do want everyone to just know that the way this will work, this is going to be a preliminary indication of which direction each request is going to go, which will be dictated by the motions that have been prepared and depending upon which ways the board wants to vote. The next step would then be to have whatever further action has to take place on each request, ultimately coming back to the select board in the case of those that can be sold via auction. There are others that would need to go to town meeting, so that would be action the board would have to take depending upon the parcel, largely depending upon how the parcel was acquired. So, that being said, I'm going to take these requests in the order of how they're presented in the motions, and I'll try to offer an explanation in that way, and I think that's probably going to be the best way for the board to manage the discussion, if that's okay.
Yep. That sounds perfect, Michael.
So,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, through you, so I would motion and then we would discuss?
No, I would say don't motion. Let's have some discussion, and then we'll get to the motions, depending upon what the pleasure of the board is. And my computer's jammed.
Mr.
Here we
Chairman,
go.
Wait, okay, back.
Came back, but it's very slow. Hold on, let's see.
This is fairly light. What was the plan?
Here we go. It's just,
I know now the space is tight.
okay. All right, well, we'll do our best to get through it, and
Yeah.
stay close, Matt.
Slowly.
Slowly, yes, very slowly. Great, thank you. So, if it, oh, did you-
Mr. Chairman,
I think Mr. Massey's seeking recognition.
just want to make a couple comments. I'll be recusing myself on this agenda item. I am in a butter of 9 Patley Road, as well as my family having interest in that parcel. This has been a parcel that, through several discussions with multiple chairmen, town council, town administrator, and the State Ethics Commission, we have followed every single process and procedure, and above and beyond that, that has been requested by me and my family. Thank you very much.
I'm going to actually make a suggestion. Why don't we take the easiest things?
Okay.
If we get on a roll and.
You feel confident as
Yeah.
we go forward?
So if we skip ahead a bit in the motions, if we were to go to the last one under this agenda item that says evaluate.
What number is that?
So we're on agenda item,
Yeah, we're on agenda number 10. Oh, it says not terminate.
so the first one says retain, the next says retain affordable housing overlay.
Yep,
And if
yep,
you go to the next page, it says continue planning,
yep.
then prepare a sale, and then after that, page 7, terminate review. We start there.
Okay.
We can
terminate
knock
review.
off a couple of motions, I think, pretty easily.
And that's on page 12.
Yes. So these are requests that were submitted and have been withdrawn. So we can terminate the review at that point in time because those who requested to acquire the property have expressed that they are no longer interested in acquiring it. Before the motion's even offered, that's for 91 Burrows Road, 14 Carriage Way, 19 Quimby Road, and 12 Stevens Road. So I think those votes can be pretty easily taken based upon the originally inquiring party saying to us, we're no longer interested in acquiring the property.
So just a question for my own edification. Let's say 91 Burrows Road says they don't want to do it anymore.
They
but
did.
We still want to put it up for, we still want to put it up for sale. Would we not do that?
You certainly could.
But you wouldn't
But then the
have, but right
question
now,
is-
we don't have an interested party.
Okay.
So we'd be paying for advertisement costs for parcels that no one has expressed an interest in.
Okay, I got you. If we put it up for sale, would they suddenly become reinterested?
I'm going to just make, respectfully, we're going to have our hands full with those that want to buy properties.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to divert
Get
us
stuck on this.
from ones that,
Okay,
and I'm just talking about probably multiple months of process.
okay,
So to add ones for which we don't have a willing buyer, it's only going to shortchange those who have stepped forward and say, I want to buy.
okay, gotcha.
So
All
that
right,
would be my
thank you, Michael.
hesitation.
I appreciate it, thank you. So let's vote on that one, right?
And again, we're on page,
Terminate
Is that
review.
right? Is that okay? So we're gonna
so it's the one entitled motion to
motion
terminate review.
It's top of page 12.
Up to page 12.
Or it might be 7.
Yeah.
Might be page
7 in
7.
what you're-
Page
Oh,
7
maybe
in
it's
yours,
seven
in the
in the
supplemental.
Mr. Chairman, I move to terminate review of the following requests to purchase town-owned land as the requests have been withdrawn. 91 Burrows Road, 14 Carriage Way, 19 Quimby Road, 12 Stevens Road.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? No, and Mr. Massey is recused. Okay.
Similarly, the next are 3 parcels that were not forwarded for review because they were received after the last time the board considered town-owned land purchases, which was last summer. So this motion would be to conduct the evaluation that's required before you could proceed with the sale, effectively to do with these 3 parcels what has already been done for the rest of the parcels that you were talking about tonight.
Okay.
And that motion's the motion to evaluate. Next
Okay.
motion.
Any comments? None? Okay, we'll take the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to conduct an evaluation of the town's need for the following town-owned parcels for which a request to purchase has been received in accordance with bylaw Chapter 5, Section 25B. 19 Bliss Road, 0 Darrell Drive, 16 Quimby Road.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And Mr. Massey is recused.
Okay. So if we were to go back to page 5, back 2 pages to the top, request for the board to sell town-owned land.
Got it.
This motion is to retain.
Got it.
And so this is for property located at 3 Carpenter Drive. This has been a long-standing request that's been submitted by the abutting property owner, who I believe is interested in acquiring the land to add to their single-family residential property for purposes of possibly expanding their yard or installing a pool. And the challenge has been, as we've previously been told by the Planning Commission, that the property is identified for potential larger type of development, whether it be affordable housing or senior housing or something else. And the area in question, as I understand it, near this property is suitable for a septic system. And so if I just were to read from the one-page report provided by the conservation agent, 3 Carpenter Drive, municipal use was foreseen. The Community Planning Commission stated they recommend not selling any portion as identified for development of affordable senior housing. The Conservation Commission said it could be sold with conditions, The desired use, again, for a pool and a shed by the abutting property owner. It is owned by general government and transferred from the school department in October of 1997. Most importantly, it was not acquired by tax title acquisition. So even if you were going to sell it, you would need to go to town meeting to seek approval to sell the property. That said, you're being advised by the planning commission not to sell the property.
And it's 10.12 acres.
Yes, this is a significant
10
parcel,
acres.
and it abuts another larger parcel owned by the town as well.
Which is approximately 5?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it directly abuts an additional 5 acres of town-owned land.
And to be clear, it's a select board decision, but even in this case, you couldn't just put it out to auction. You would have to go to town meeting, have an article approved by town meeting authorizing you to sell the property.
Okay.
I just, for everybody's benefit, I just want to remind folks of our bylaw with regard to the sale of town-owned land. Bear with me one moment. And I'm reading from the bylaw, which states, thank you. Prior to the select board making a determination as set forth to sell, an information file shall be prepared, which shall contain complete description of the land, the fair market value of the land, and a list of unpaid taxes and liens, if any. Information shall be distributed to the Planning Commission, Conservation Commission, School, Finance, Recreation Committees, which all took place. Notice of sale. Sorry, just leading in that section. When a municipal use is not foreseen by any of the designated commissions or committees within 45 days, the select board may then proceed to determine whether the land will be retained or sold. The land will be retained or sold. So it is somewhat restrictive language. The 45 days, we have feedback that's provided by committees after a request is made. Sometimes it can be done that quickly, sometimes not. So I just want people to be aware of that. All of that being said, based upon the information provided, the motion in front of you is to that the town retain 3 Carpenter Drive.
All right, let's have the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move, in accordance with bylaw Chapter 3, Section 25B, that the town retain the following parcels and notify requesting individuals accordingly. 3 Carpenter Drive.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And Mr. Massey is recused.
So the next 2 parcels that I'm going to discuss are 21 Bliss Road and 9 Patley Road. The more straightforward of the 2 is 21 Bliss Road. There was no municipal use foreseen. It was not acquired by tax title foreclosure. So if you were going to proceed with potentially selling, you would need to go to town meeting for authority, have a town meeting vote to give you the authority to sell the property. It is located within the Affordable Housing Overlay District. The desired use of the requestor was for forest preservation. The Community Planning Commission replied that no future use was identified, and the Conservation Commission replied that it could be sold with conditions. It's a 12-acre, it's a .12 acre size parcel, so just over 1/10 of an acre, assessed at $343,300.
That's 19.
Sorry.
21.
Yeah.
21 is .29.
21, excuse me, .29 acres, and it's assessed at $377,800. I'm sorry, I misspoke on that. That's, again, all regarding 21 Bliss Road. 19 is not under consideration. We just sent that into the process with your second vote earlier. So the challenge with this is that it is in the Affordable Housing Overlay District. It was zoned for production of affordable housing with smaller land area and, I believe, setback requirements on the parcel. That's something that I believe was initiated by the Community Planning Commission in the early 2010s, maybe even late 2000s. However, they are no longer at this point in time looking to recommend it be held for future development. And I believe that's been by the lack of interest in developing for the property, for affordable housing, and for other parcels that they've struggled to get people interested in. And by that, I'm referring to the St. Teresa's Street parcel that went to town meeting, I think 2 years ago. We went through a request for proposals process. Habitat for Humanity, I think, was the only respondent and was selected, but has not been responsive to bring the transaction to a conclusion for whatever reason. So I think the Planning Commission is factoring that. The flip side of that is these parcels were put into the Affordable Housing Overlay District by town meeting, meaning that they were zoned to allow this development. So that may be a consideration that you all have as you decide what to proceed with. But it may not, based upon the recommendation. So hopefully I've given you a good backdrop with regard to that. And I'm happy to answer any questions regarding 21 Bliss Road.
So my summary is, my takeaway is that CPC lost interest because they couldn't get anyone to come forward to develop a affordable housing at that. And that becomes even more clear because the property we did 2 years ago saying they could do it, Habitat for Humanity never came forward.
They submitted a proposal, but we've not been able to
They just never.
to conclude the transaction.
Any reason why? Did they say why?
Ghosted is the word I heard, so I'm not really sure there's an explanation.
Okay, they ghosted us? Okay, I know what that means. Go ahead, Mr. Holder.
Just in relation to 21 Bliss, and then I believe there were 8 parcels. At one point, the town meeting put in the affordable housing overlay district. And again, what it did was it took these 8 parcels, which were identified by the Planning Commission, and put them in the overlay district and required less stringent setback requirements and square footage in order to allow for affordable housing. What the Planning Commission has done to date is put 3 of them out for proposals, the first 3 that they thought would, come to fruition or have a shot at, somebody would express an interest in, some nonprofit such as Habitat for Humanity. They put 3, one was up at Oakdale Road Extension, St. Teresa Street, and I don't know what the other one was, I forget. But Habitat for Humanity did take a look at it, offered a proposal, and then, for whatever reason, didn't bring it to fruition. So to me, at this particular point in time, any particular parcel that's in the Affordable Housing Overlay District should be retained, because town meeting took very strong and specific action to provide for affordable housing in these specified parcels throughout the community. Again, they're scattered about the community in order to allow it to happen. Again, there's a whole process that everybody has to go through in order to bring it to fruition. And absent town meeting changing their mind, or if the Planning Commission wants to change their mind as far as changing the Affordable Housing Overlay District, I believe we should retain, because town meeting took specific action to create this Affordable Housing Overlay District, to allow for it to happen, should there be a would-be buyer. And again, it's up to the board as to how we dispose of it, whether it be through gift or whether small token amount of money in order to bring it to fruition. And I don't think it's appropriate for us to be selling that at this particular time without the Planning Commission and town meeting changing the overlay district. This is a specific district within our zoning bylaws, specified parcels that meet these qualifications. And I don't think we should be selling it off unless someone is petitioning us to purchase it for that intended purpose. You know, and
Just-
that
Just to
is not the
confirm,
case.
okay, so the buyers, the would-be buyers are not proposing affordable housing?
housing.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, through you.
Yep.
Just to describe the request. Right now, the request pending was for forest preservation. That was the stated use, so not for affordable housing, for 21 Bliss Road. When the time is right, I do see that a hand is up virtually, so, and it may be from an interested party. Do you want to hear from them now, or?
Sure, let's hear. If they're talking about 21 Bliss,
Yep.
let's talk about it.
Mr. Sanchez's hand's up. Tomas, you should be able to unmute yourself now. Tomas, if you can hear us, you should be able to unmute now. Oh, it looks like you're unmuted. There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Good evening, Mr. Chair. Tom Sanchez, 17 Bliss Road. This 21 Bliss Road is actually behind 19 Bliss Road, which abuts my property. And our intent is to start out by purchasing 19, add it to my property, and God willing, 21, and add it to my property, and just leave it alone. It belongs to the creatures out there. It's wooded. There's a stream that runs out towards the back. You can't really get in there. Years ago, there was an individual looking to build a house on the backside of Dix Road. Came to town meeting. I think they would have to build a turnaround, a culvert, and bring fire water down the grass path leading down to 21 in order to get a house in there. And I think that's what the big issue is of stopping progress. It was told at that town meeting the individual would have had to spend somewhere close to $1 million to get everything in there, and that's before getting a house in there.
Wow.
So there is a lot of infrastructure that would have to be done just to get a house in there. But that's not the issue. We just want those 2 parcels of land, or would like those 2 parcels of land, just to make our land more conforming and keep it forested.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sanchez. I don't know how to comment to that.
I'm going to share an overlay that hopefully will come through here. So I believe that this is parcel 65 is Mr. Sanchez's property. This is 21 Bliss, which is pending in the conversation right now. 19 has been, it's the one in between. He just mentioned that that's been kicked into the process, and for which information will come back to you hopefully within 45 days, to give you an idea. This is a dead-end street. This is a town-owned parcel, but as I think Mr. O'Leary can tell us, and Mr. Sanchez as well, it's treated as a dirt road. So there, you can see there's an outline of parallel lines of a way through it, even though it shows up as a parcel. It's treated, people travel on it, although maybe only within the neighborhood. So just giving you an idea of what you're looking at.
I'm sorry. I had some old pictures of a house that looked like it was sitting right on the edge of 21. This is back in 1951, 52, and it was grass back then. The path that goes down there is definitely not 40 feet wide. There is an iron pipe right there at the corner of Hancock and parcel 61. So that would be the outer limit of the actual Bliss Road. Another concern would be if they put a house down in there, the question would be, would they pave Bliss Road from Oakdale up? And if that was the case, you could see that the house on parcel 60 is in the way, if you will. So their front door is right on the edge of Bliss Road. So that's probably another issue that has come up.
So did we already, for 19 Bliss Road, was that already one of the ones we crossed
Yes.
over?
Yeah. We moved, because it has not been sent around for feedback in the process like these other parcels have. So that would need to happen first before you could do anything with 19.
But did we already talk about it?
Tonight we did,
Okay,
yes.
sorry, I was
Yes, we
taking
did.
a charge. Okay, so
Tonight we did, yes.
We referred it.
All right. So you know, I'm not an expert in this,
Yeah,
but
yeah, back in 2001, we inquired about 19 Bliss Road. It's, we've been looking at it for quite a while.
all right, so any suggestions we have for Mr. Sanchez, how to handle this, or?
Well, if I might, Mr. Chairman,
Please.
as far as 19 Bliss Road, we've already referred that into the process, and that'll come back to us after it goes through review for
Okay.
consideration. 21, again, I just think as far as any of these parcels that are in the Affordable Overlay District, I think it's important for the Planning Commission to go back and review those parcels that have been put into the Affordable Overlay Housing District, as far as what the intent was at the time, when it was brought to town meeting and passed by town meeting, and this Affordable Housing Overlay District was a new thing for our zoning bylaws at the time, and I believe there were 8 parcels. So, I mean, unless and until that's reviewed again by the Planning Commission, and again, this is a zoning matter, it's brought back to town meeting for consideration for either changes, or it doesn't need to be reaffirmed, it's just, if they're looking to change it, bring forward and change it, but unless and until it's changed, we shouldn't be selling off,
Couldn't be doing anything.
we shouldn't be doing anything with it.
So CPC has kind of a lead here.
Right, so if they've determined at some point that the parcels that they've identified, the 8 that were identified, don't work for whatever reason, or isn't economically feasible, and maybe some other purpose, because they didn't put 19 in, even though it was directly abutting it, they just put
Yeah,
21 Bliss.
yeah.
Again, it had to do with square footage and potential frontage. Again, this is all paper streets up here, most of it's paper streets, and those streets that are on the road or on the layout are actually dirt roads. Bliss Road, Hancock, Ivy, part of Sherman, are all dirt roads. So, up in that area.
So should he be taking his request for 21 Bliss Road to CPC?
No,
No.
no, it comes to the board. And what the board, and again, my suggestion to the board is anything that's in the Affordable Housing Overlay District currently should not be considered for sale unless someone is looking to put affordable housing on it. That's all. It's in keeping with town meeting's action and the appropriate zoning for it. That's what we should be considering. Anything other than that is not for its intended purpose.
Yeah, I have a question. The lots that were allocated, zoned as affordable housing, were they did they figure in the calculation for our MBTA compliance, and if we sell them
No,
off?
this predates all of that.
Predates all of that, okay.
But by at least a decade.
But- Right.
So we tried to do the right thing, and then the state
Right,
came down.
and part of it, what was in consideration was the 10% figure that we have to hit, and what we're looking to do is have the town take a proactive role in providing town-owned land to build affordable units. Particularly, we still have a significant number of undersized lots in relation to regular zoning. These minimum lot sizes, I think, are 10,000 square feet. Right now, there isn't any other section in town where you can build build a home on a 10,000 square foot lot, unless it's in the Affordable Housing Overlay District.
Got it, okay. I mean, there's a dire lack of affordable housing in the state, and this close to Boston. I kind of tend to agree with Mr. O'Leary. I think we should leave it alone. And I don't know if there's an opportunity for us to advertise these so that maybe someone will come build affordable housing.
But again, I suppose we could. But again, and the purpose at the time, when the
Right,
planning
for the-
commission
for
did
the-
it, was to
right.
do just that. It publicized it, it showed us, showed them where they were on the map, and, we didn't have too many takers at that particular time. And then they actually advertised, I think, 3 parcels.
Okay. But it's been
So
a
there
while.
was an effort.
Okay.
But it hasn't been changed, so therefore, they're in the overlay district. I believe they should remain there unless someone is approaching us to purchase it for affordable housing, because that's the intended stated purpose.
Okay, let's go on to 9 Patley Road.
Sure. So, 9 Patley Road, again, Planning Commission responded similarly that a municipal use was not foreseen. This is a .24 acre parcel valued at $368,700. It is located within the Affordable Housing Overlay District. It was partially acquired by tax title foreclosure. So that further complicates this particular parcel, and I'll get into that in a moment. In terms of the request, there were two, and then there was a third that was received the week before last. The first was to add to the abutting property for possible shed or plantings. The second was a safe space for grandchildren to extend their play when visiting an abutting property, presumably a residential property. And then the third, more recent request was actually from an individual interested in pursuing affordable housing development on town-owned parcels. And after some discussion with the planner's office 2 weeks ago, they settled on 9 Patley Road as being the one that they were most interested in at this point in time, based upon its status. So that would not be through this process, which would be a simple auction. There would be a more detailed request for proposals process that we would follow to put any of those properties out, whether it's 21 Bliss or 9 Patley. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the parcels themselves, the parcel itself. It's made up of two smaller parcels, Lot 3 and Parcel A. Parcel A was acquired by tax title. Lot 3 was purchased and could be, and would require authorization by town meeting. So I'm going to put up a map here that might help with this whole thing. Bear with me 1 second. And we've dealt with complicated town-owned land transactions in the past, but this parcel is amongst the most complicated. So if I put this plan up on the map here, you can see there are two components of it. There's Lot 3 on the left-hand side shaded, and there's Parcel A. Parcel A was acquired by tax title foreclosure. So a previous owner didn't pay their taxes, we foreclosed on the property and took ownership of it. That makes it eligible for sale at auction through the process that we are talking about here. Lot 3, to the left, was not acquired in that fashion, which would require that it would need to go to town meeting in order to be sold. To our knowledge, both requests are to purchase the entirety of both parcels.
Lot 3 and Parcel A.
Yes, that's our understanding of the request.
Lot 3 and Lot A constitutes 9 Patley Road.
Correct.
Oh,
See, 9 Patley Road is
Those
a
two
combination of two parcels. It's really one parcel, 9 Patley Road, but the way that it was acquired, it was through multiple transactions. But the lot is 9 Patley Road. So in order for us to sell the entire parcel, we have to go to town meeting to get approval, because half of it was acquired through a different methodology rather than tax title. So you would be selling 9 Patley Road, and and again, it hasn't been subdivided. So we would have to, if we were gonna sell a portion of it, we would have to subdivide it, go back and subdivide the parcel as it was once subdivided, and sell off a portion of it. But what's being requested is 9 Patley Road, which is one parcel, one lot, which is made up of two parcels, originally.
and there is a request for affordable housing on 9 Patley Road comprised of Lot 3 and Parcel A.
Which came in about a week ago.
Yeah, it came in, as the individual approached the town planner, looking at the possibility of developing affordable housing on 6 town-owned parcels, as
Oh.
I understand it. And after back and forth, ended up settling at 9 Patley Road, based upon some restrictions that are in place. So the developer was looking to take advantage of a state law that allows for affordable housing development on grandfathered lots, meaning lots that don't fit under zoning right now for housing development, but did at one point in their history. But after some back and forth, he was interested in an Eisenhower Pond property. That's not going to be an option because it's Article 97 protected parkland. He settled at this. Again, very preliminarily. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I mean, this is just, he came to us, he had, I think, 6 parcels in the list, ended up at this being the list. We would still need to go through the whole process of putting out a request for proposals, but it would appear he's interested in submitting a bid.
Okay. So we should hold on to this one as well.
If you're looking to pursue affordable housing development. I mean, there's been points in time over history where the board has not wanted to develop housing on any town-owned land. That seems to have changed in recent years because we put out at least one parcel in the past 5 years that enabled development to happen, so.
And this neighborhood is a residential neighborhood.
It is, single-family residential. There may be,
And there's a street
there may be
that runs
one or
right in
two
front.
multifamily homes, but
Okay, so it's not like in the middle of parkland, someone wants to put affordable housing. This would fit with the fabric of the neighborhood.
no, but I do think it's the edge of a single-family residential neighborhood. There's a highway business district just further to the east.
That way.
Yeah,
Route
to your
28.
right. You're a couple house lots away from,
Okay.
Wilson Avenue North is a road, and then to the east of that is the back of a number of Main Street parcels.
Okay.
So you're close to Main Street in that spot.
You know, Joker's Wild is located,
Yes.
that's the corner of Patley Road. And this is like 3 lots up.
Okay. That is a scary looking building.
All right, that
Thank
becomes
you.
cleaner.
I couldn't wrap my head around lot 3 and parcel A being one number. That was confusing. Thank you.
The one thing I just would add is, you know, you have the option of taking a vote. Sorry, just not letting me stop my share here. Stop sharing. You have the option of taking a vote to move these parcels into, further into the planning process. So 21 Bliss Road, you would need to pursue town meeting authorization, so that's what that would mean in that case. For 9 Patley Road, similarly, if you're gonna do the whole parcel, you would require town meeting authorization. You could prepare them for sale, but in the case of 9 Patley, it would be for parcel A only. It would not be for lot 3 because we did not acquire it by tax title foreclosure. And then the final option is to retain, based upon the housing bylaw, although from the discussion here, it retain with a caveat, meaning that you would be saying to the planning commission, we'd like you to review putting these out for proposals for sale for affordable housing. So it's not really retain in perpetuity, it's retain and put out for proposals for
It's intended
affordable
to be
housing.
utilized.
Yeah, for its intended purpose.
Yeah.
But I think at least in the case of 9 Patley, it'd be ready to move forward, for a request for proposals.
Yeah, whether this
based on
person wants it or
yeah,
not, right?
based on
Yeah.
this interest.
Yep,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
oh,
Ron Massey.
right into the microphone, please, as
No,
much as possible.
it sounds
Yeah.
like it's coming
Thank
out
you.
all right, but it's not.
Yeah, the speakers are in your ear, that's why.
Ron Massey, 50 Mount Vernon Street. So I just had a question, if I can address to Mike. Is there been a past precedence where, someone has went for affordable housing in a residential district like this? I mean, this hasn't been touched or occupied for 61 years, but, I mean, this is really set back in a residential area. Has this ever happened before? Someone's coming in to look at something that's an unbuildable lot, that they're gonna put in the middle of 2 homes, to put affordable housing there?
Through you, so, Mr. Chairman, the response I can offer is with regard to St. Teresa Street, which is obviously further north on Main Street. The Planning Commission was approached by Habitat for Humanity. They were seeking to partner with the town to develop affordable housing on a parcel within the overlay district. There was a town-owned parcel on St. Teresa Street that met that criteria. The parcel went to town meeting. There was a wetland delineation that was requested on the property as well and conducted, and it was put out to bid. Habitat for Humanity submitted a proposal and was selected as the most advantageous proposal. They may have been the only proposer, but that was more than a year ago, and it has not come to a conclusion. So yes, there has been interest, but we've been unable to bring the transaction to conclusion.
No, never before, no. I mean,
I can't speak for never, but certainly not in my tenure, and I'm not aware that any of the parcels in the overlay district have successfully been sold. Although I don't know that it's due to lack of effort or not.
Okay.
Mr. O'Leary?
Yeah, there was another parcel in Oakdale Road Extension similarly, and I think there's a proposal out there, again, that I think it was awarded, but nothing, or was determined to be the most advantageous. And again, same thing was in this affordable housing overlay district that I thought was coming to fruition. So it's not unprecedented. And again, it's specific to the, I believe there were 8, I'm using the word, I think it's 8 parcels that were identified and put into this district. I know that at least 2 of them there have been attempts to move them forward. Haven't come to fruition yet. So it's not a.
This small of a square footage?
Yeah, again, this all meets the zoning, so it was 10,000 square feet, the setbacks would be a certain, less than what would normally be
Yeah,
required.
there's-
And it's a question as to whether or not they can put a septic in there or not. That's all to be determined. The parcels were set aside. People can make proposals on them for affordable housing. If
Do
it
you
works, it
remember,
works.
do you remember the square footage on,
Which one?
on the particular one that you're talking about? Do you remember the square footage on that?
I don't recall at the moment,
So,
no.
21 Bliss, was that?
No, there's Oakdale Road Extension was one, and then St. Teresa Street. And again, some of them are smaller than others, so it's restricted as to how many, whether it be 1 unit or 2 units. I think Oakdale Road Extension
I think it
was
2
for
units.
2.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, it was for 2 units. St. Teresa Street, I forget, was that also 2? 2 units in St. Teresa Street also. So my guess is the square footage is a little bit larger than this one. This one's set up for 1, single family.
Because
I
the
believe.
the building commissioner, stated that you can't build on this. I mean, there's no way you can build on no frontage, you don't have the square footage, nothing even close. But, the problem over there is, it's loaded with poison ivy. It has a town-owned fence that's just a scrap of a fence that's buried in concrete in there, and, it's very dangerous for any children or anybody that's walking anywhere near there. And, it's just not a safe area. But, I was looking forward to have my grandchildren there and just have a space for them to play without getting hurt or something like that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We know you.
Mr. Chairman, Nick Massey, 1 Rogers Circle. I'm going to butter to this property. Wanted to bring up a couple things because this process has been going on for a very, very long time about this property. I inquired about purchasing this property back in 2022, before I was a selectman, before I even, a twinkle in my eye about thinking about being a selectman. Coordinated with the town administrator, coordinated with town council for months and months and months. As a matter of fact, the entire year that Mr. O'Leary was the chairman, this was not brought up, even though it was pending. So I withdrew my interest on this property based upon state laws and trying to do the right thing here. What is legal is a family member can buy it. What we want to do, ideally what my father wants to do, is buy this property so that when my nieces come visit and I have children running around my yard, that they're not getting hurt. My niece got cut by your rusty metal fence that abuts my property. Your Japanese knotweed is invasive and it is coming onto my property, and it might wrap around my septic tank as it continues to move into my property. But I want to talk about the process of this and how crooked I believe this is. And excuse me, I'm sorry, my father's going to do a lot better politicized than I am right now because I know a lot of history here. Mr. O'Leary mentions town meeting took specific action on this. Well, they also took specific action for the MBTA, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Former Chairman, and you had an exception with that. Now, my comments that I made back on March 4th were that I've been treated unfairly, right? Back on March 4th that I said that this board will do anything they can, or they have done anything they can, to make me not succeed, or my family. And at this point in time, this is where it all comes out, right? This is why I said when I didn't want to say at that date was that that they're trying to make, no matter what, don't let Nick succeed. Don't even let him buy property. Don't even let his family buy property. This is the stuff that goes on in the background to the community of North Reading, okay? This has been going on for a long time. My family and I have gone over and above the state law as confirmed with town council, town clerk, our own council, and the State Ethics Commission. Now I want to bring up something a little bit more important, right? There is a phrase called political retribution, right? The entire time that someone's talking here about affordable housing is Mr. O'Leary. It's not Mr. Wallner, it's not Mrs. Marin, and it's not Mr. Tyler. The only person talking about this is Mr. O'Leary, right? Does this make it about something bigger? Okay, well, let's get into the details. Mr. Chairman, as a selectman, and I'm recused, but however, it is public information, the motions that were in my packet just 2 weeks ago were to release this land. The motion that's in the packet today, 2 weeks later, which by the way, in that 2 weeks, now all of a sudden someone else is interested in buying it. Who's going to buy this property that isn't in a butter? Really? The CPC has released this property. The CPC has already done its investigation on this property. But what I don't like to see is a select board change their mind over time, and what appears that it's not Mr. Wallner, the chairman. It appears that it's Mr. O'Leary having his hands on this. Now, the packet that we received today for this meeting, the selectmen, the only backup documentation in that packet isn't about, we have 20 properties for sale here. To the community, we have 20 properties. The only information in that packet is about 9 Patley. There is no other information. How can someone like myself sit here sincerely and not consider this political retribution? And all of a sudden, 61 years, the town hasn't wanted to do anything with it. Now they want to do something with it? And I'd like to know who has their paws on it. Who is the one that changed the motion from 2 weeks ago to releasing this land to all of a sudden now retaining it? Who did it?
Okay, are you set? Are you good?
I'm asking. I'm wondering. I'm not done yet. I'd like to know that. I'd also like to know who values it at $50,000 to have to go to town meeting. I think this town, hey, push comes to shove. I got plenty of information and precedents about this town and how they sell land and the value that they sell land at. So I'm really interested now. All of a sudden, this 5,000 square foot piece of land is $50,000. Please, someone explain it to me. And I'm interested what the town can do with this land. Mr. O'Leary says affordable housing. The building department said you cannot build there. It does not have 25,000 square foot. It does not have 125 foot frontage. It's not that big. And that's all I have. And I'm very disappointed in this board on a personal level at this point. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, a question for the town administrator. What are the setbacks for affordable housing?
I'd have to go through the zoning to get you that answer.
Okay.
So, and I'm not, I could try to, but what I can say is that it's possible that when asked, the building inspector didn't know that the property was zoned for affordable housing.
Okay.
That's entirely possible that that's the case.
Is it possible to get that information for all the properties that are set aside by town meeting for affordable housing? Just so it's very clearly communicated to the public what those properties are, what the setbacks are, what the acreage is.
I'm sure that we could.
I mean, since the town's gone through the process of voting for that in the town meeting, certainly that information has been presented. Is it a matter of finding it? I don't want to put undue burden on a lot of, I know everyone's busy, but I personally feel that Mr. Massey's accusation is a little unfair, because I was just sitting here talking about affordable housing, and I think affordable housing is important, and it is a big issue in the state. There's not a lot of affordable housing, especially within the 95 corridor. It's very hard to find affordable housing. I know we have a 40B project going on, but that's, you know, it's a drop in the bucket.
Mr. Chairman, if I just might, first of all, in relation to what was in our packet this evening, it was not just 9 Patley Road. We have detailed information on several parcels, all of which have nuances to them. 8 Audubon Road, 19 Bliss Road, 21 Bliss Road, 3 Carpenter Drive, 3A Colonial Hill Drive, 9 Grant Street, 2 Highland Terrace, 4 Highland Terrace, 2 Lincoln Street, 322 Main Street, 9 Patley Road, 16 Quimby Road, 18 Quimby Road, 20 Quimby Road, and it goes on. 0 Railroad Ave. So, in relation to what was just presented by Mr. Massey, that's not true. What is in our packet, a detailed information about a number of these parcels, not every single parcel, but a number of these parcels which have little nuances to them. As far as affordable housing, and I'm the only one talking about it, that's not true. Mara just pointed that out. But what Mr. Massey may not know is that I've been talking about affordable housing ever since I've been elected to this board. You've been here 2 years. Excuse me, 2 years. I mean, the first 40R in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts happened here, and I was involved with that. Every 40B development that was developed in the town of North Reading for over 20 years, I chaired every single committee to bring those to fruition and involve the neighborhoods. I spent thousands of hours promoting affordable housing, making sure they fit into our neighborhoods, make sure that their infringement on the neighbors are curtailed as much as possible, and make sure it fit in.
36
So-
years
so
on the
it's again-
select board, you haven't done one thing with this property. 36 years.
That's not true. If you look at the deed.
Yeah, I know,
that's assigned over
1990,
there-
I see your
yeah,
name.
1990. Do you
I
see my
see your
signature
name.
on that one too?
Oh, what does that mean?
What did we do with it?
What have you done with this since then?
Excuse me, you're saying things and then you're retracting it. I did do something with this property, all right? We did do something based upon requests by abutters on the particular property at the particular time. We did a land swap with it in order to create 9 Patley Road, in order to create this parcel. And then later on at town meeting, I was in strong support of the affordable housing overlay district to promote affordable housing. This lot happened to be one of them. As far as you being treated differently, you're being treated the same, and again, if it's mistreatment, I don't disagree.
Oh.
It takes a long
Well,
time
there's a
for
change
us
of
to go
mind in
through
2
this whole
weeks,
thing.
Mr. O'Leary.
I don't disagree. This takes us a long time to go through this process. You're on a list here
Huh.
with everybody else.
I respect it.
And you,
Do you think
and
I'm
so
asking for
you're
better
saying you're
treatment?
being singled out. Yours is being considered with everybody else. You have done everything within your power to try and influence this parcel coming forward by itself, and again, there's plenty of correspondence to do that, to prove it. You know, you've overstepped your bounds in relation to, you've signed a disclosure with the clerk's office stating that you were going to recuse yourself from this, and you've done nothing except interfere with it, interfere with the process, try and force it forward, specifically of the parcel that you had an interest in. You withdrew your
Prove it.
interest in the parcel, I believe, but you haven't shared
Prove it.
I share the information that you requested of the State Ethics Commission, telling me telling the town that
I
we
don't
can
know.
sell you this parcel.
How are you getting obtaining this information?
Go
What are
ahead,
you
go
doing?
ahead and share the information, but you haven't. You haven't filed that disclosure. You haven't
I
filed
haven't
this,
filed a
and you
disclosure?
withdrew your application because you couldn't buy the entire parcel, and you had your father step in.
Yeah. I followed the legal rules that town
and you-
council
and you
has
follow-
approved.
And
That
town
town
council,
council
the
has
correspondence
approved.
between you and town council, you've been in an adversarial relationship with him day one, with them, excuse me.
What does that have to
Within
do with the
day
property?
one.
He just-
No, you're trying
Mr. Chairman,
you're
that's
trying to
the-
bend the rules
You stay
in
within
order to do it.
the
So,
confines here. I don't know
you're
why
the
he's
one who
going,
did-
you can tell it's getting personal
No,
by
it's
how
not
far you're
personal.
getting
The whole
off of
point
it.
here is you have not been treated any differently than anybody else.
You have your
You're
hands
all
wrapped around
here.
this, Mr. O'Leary,
You're here
and I
with
know
everybody
it, I
else.
can
You're
tell
the
it,
one
I
who
can
made the
smell it
statement.
on you,
And
and I
continue
imagine
to
that you have to
talk
go
over.
home and shower
And
after
again,
this, because
this
I
is your
feel
methodology.
disgusting.
You talk over so that people can't hear.
Okay, we gotta pause it.
But the bottom line is, you're being treated the same as everybody else, at the
That's who you're
same
voting
time
for
as
for
everybody
36
else.
years. That's who
And
you're
it just
voting
so
for. I've been
happens
trying
that-
to tell you for 2 years, that's who you vote for.
It just so happens
Okay,
that the
let's
I
parcel
got
you're
all the
looking for,
documentation to
Let's
prove
stop.
it, and I'm happy to make it public.
Let's stop.
and it just so happens that the parcel that he's requesting to purchase, or now have his father purchase, is in the Affordable Housing Overlay District, just like 21 Bliss Road, and if there's any, and there's no other, those are the only two that have been requested in this time period.
All right.
And
Let's-
we need to just hold on to those for their intended purpose, regardless of who they abut.
Yeah.
So it's not personal.
Okay, let's move
Never
on.
was, never will be.
All right. Let's have a motion.
Can I
Oh, sure.
finish? So again, I said I would take the properties by motion. I've mentioned, the three options. I just, again, want to read it. You have the option to retain, because they're in the Affordable Housing Overlay District.
Mhm.
You could retain and refer them back to the Planning Commission to pursue a sale, particularly regarding 9 Patley Road, but potentially for 21 Bliss Road as well, based upon what the market might yield. You could continue planning, and in the case of 9 Patley Road, you can only sell parcel A, lot 3, parcel A. You would need to continue planning for lot 3 because you don't have the authority to sell it. And then your final option would be to simply put out to auction parcel A because you do have the authority to sell that right now. But then you would be selling half of 9 Patley Road.
But if we sell half of 9 Patley Road,
It
then
renders it,
the remainder of 9 Patley Road would be completely useless.
I imagine it would not meet the zoning requirement based upon its size. It would at that point be .05 or .06 acres.
Well, now that you have an interest in 9 Patley Road, it would seem, we can hold off. Can we hold off on this vote?
No.
You can do whatever you please in terms of,
Okay, go ahead.
the vote. I mean,
no,
it's-
if we look at this, if someone had just put in a request, and someone did, June 24th or 26th, to purchase 9 Patley Road for affordable housing purposes,
Yep.
what would we do? We would have to do two
Follow the
things.
process.
We would have to go to town meeting to get half of the lot, authorization for half of the lot to be sold at auction, to be sold.
If you were selling it at auction, not for affordable housing purposes.
Right, but for affordable housing purposes, we don't have to go to town meeting. because
I believe you do. I don't think you have authority to sell. It's zoned that way, but I
So-
don't believe you have the
All
authority
right,
to
so
sell.
if we need to go to town meeting to get that authorization,
Mhm.
and we have a would-be buyer who's truly interested and has a plan for us, my guess is that we would go to town meeting and ask them to authorize us to sell the entire parcel for affordable housing purposes, and then put it out to bid, see what their proposal is, see if it's advantageous, and decide to sell or not. Is that how it works?
Yes, with involvement by the planning commission.
Right,
Something
involving
that-
the-
a
involving
process
the
that they
planning
would manage, and they would need to be willing to manage. I don't know that they have been able to consider this most recent request, because I don't believe
Yeah,
there's
it
been
just
an
came in.
opportunity for them to
Just
consider
came
it.
All right.
They're meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't know whether they're
It's probably
scheduled
not
to
on
hear
your
it or not.
agenda.
Yeah.
No,
Should
so-
be.
So would it be best to,
It sounds
would it be best to evaluate, to continue, Mr. Massey can't deliberate with the board.
Right.
Would it be best to include it in the evaluation motion as to what needs to be done in order to meet the request?
Is that the continued planning one? Is that the one you're talking about? Which has A. Audubon Road on the top? Am I in the wrong place?
I don't think so. I'm looking back at the motion to evaluate. Evaluation of town's needs for the following town-owned parcels for which request to purchase has been received in accordance. So we've got a request now
Mhm.
for the intended purpose under the zoning. So I'll defer to you as to which place to put it, to have it properly evaluated, to determine what the board wants to do to move forward. So let's put an article at
Yeah,
town
yeah,
meeting.
you could place it under continue planning.
All right, where's that one?
That's
Page
page 6.
Page 6.
Page 6, yep. That's what I'm thinking.
And voted in that fashion.
And it's already there.
Well,
I don't know whether you want to do the same for 21 Bliss, because I don't have.
We don't have a
an
request
interested
for that.
party. So you might just be retaining 21 Bliss, but moving 9 Patley forward.
yep.
But not necessarily just lot 3.
Yeah, I mean, that,
I know,
it's written contemplating a butter using
Right,
it for
right, I
non-development
understand.
purposes.
Correct.
Yeah, so,
Correct.
Well, I think that's, I mean, if we feel like it's a bona fide
But we don't
request.
as
Do we know?
as bona fide as it can be. I mean,
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we just move to retain it, and then if the individual
Yeah,
comes forward and
yeah, then
decides
they do
to
something.
pursue it, then
Yeah.
they have to go through the proper process with the CPC and the
Yeah.
zoning board?
I can see that. Yeah, because there's no limit on when you can request,
Right.
right?
And then if it has to be sold, it has to go before October town meeting. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
It has to go before a town
Before
meeting.
town meeting.
So
It
if
has to go
we,
before a town meeting.
Probably
if we
won't happen.
motion to retain, that whoever wants to build affordable housing on either 21 Bliss or 9 Patley would have to submit an application to the CPC, they have to make the recommendation, and then they have to go to town meeting. Is that correct?
That sounds right.
Sounds right.
I'm-
Right, so
Okay,
just
okay.
retain it.
Yeah, just
So if
leave it
we-
as is. Yeah.
Is that not correct?
The rest of the wrong person.
I don't,
It sounds like a reasonable approach. Retain the portion, and then if this other,
if we,
I'd like to hear what he has to say. He's barking at me from the back row.
Please.
he's not supposed to be deliberating with the
And it's
board.
putting me in a very bad position, isn't it?
Yes, it is putting you in a very bad position, and no other member is. And he's restricted under his disclosure and under the ethics law that he cannot deliberate with the board, and he's looking to deliberate with the board. So he
Mr.
should be
Chairman,
advised
back
not
to my
do
original
so.
question. I'd just be Nick Massey, 1 Rogers Circle.
You know,
Interested who changed the motion from 2 weeks ago to today, and what that reason is.
We're not talking about that.
And again, that's the
We're not talking
deliberation
about
of the board.
It's what we have.
I'm
is
just
what we
curious. Public information.
have. Not gonna be able to help you out with it.
Not gonna be able to help me out.
It is what it is. It's in the packet. Sorry.
For anyone who doesn't know, I prepare the motions for the board generally. So
Yeah.
if that answers the question.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I asked for them to be categorized as they are right now. And I think you already were ahead of me on that one, but I asked for them to be categorized so we can understand them in a more logical fashion. All right, let's continue. So we have a motion on this one, please.
I guess I'll.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask just to clarify. These contemplate retaining, this motion to retain contemplates that there's no interested party for affordable housing, but we know that there is somebody. So I don't know whether this reflects your intention or not, but it could be retain and refer if you're looking to pursue that interest.
Okay.
since there is an interested party, what is the correct language to allow the interested party to continue the process with either 21 Bliss or 9 Patley or any other parcels in the affordable housing overlay district?
I think, looking at the motion and hearing your response to the interest, some of which, I'm only coming up to speed on today, having not been in the office last week,
With
But-
that one.
although that being said, it sounds to me like the interest is in 9 Patley Road. And so I think for that one, you would be retaining it and referring it to the Planning Commission for a follow-up for potential affordable housing. And let them handle with the request that's come in.
Okay.
That's what I think is the cleanest. I don't think it's that clean for 21 Bliss Road. I think that's probably just a retain if you're committed to preserving parcels for affordable housing.
Okay, all right.
So it's 2 motions based on this discussion.
Did you get that okay, Charles?
So if you agree with that, then it would be to read the motion to retain, but not state 9 Patley Road, so we can take care of 21 Bliss, and then we can deal with 9 Patley Road.
Okay.
So retain and refer 21 Bliss Road?
No, it
No.
would be to just
Retain and
retain
refer.
as
Excuse me,
written.
other way around.
On the
21
motion to
Bliss.
retain, just as it's written, just remove Patley Road.
Sorry, I just have one more question. Why wouldn't they be, I understand one has an interest in one, the other one does not, but why would they not be treated the same?
You could refer them both in that way. I'm just, as we're discussing this,
Because we didn't have a request for it. This, we have a specific request for one,
Okay.
not the other one.
We have a request for purchase and conservation, but
Right.
since it's an affordable district overlay, we want to retain it
For that purpose.
for the, effectively, it's being conserved now because no one's building on it. But if we just retain it, then somebody could come along and say, hey, I want to.
Want to do something.
And because there's an interest in 9 Patley, we're going to kick it back to CPC and say, is that the cleanest way to do this?
We're going to retain it and refer it.
Retain and refer one, retain the other, and then if someone comes along, then they can go through CPC and do the same thing. Is that correct?
I think if we want to keep, if we want to fall, if the board is interested in supporting this inquiry for 9 Patley, then yes, that's what you would do.
I mean, personally, I think all housing should be affordable. Affordable housing has this kind of a negative connotation, and I think it's terrible because people are spending 40% of their income for housing. We have 700 residents in town who are relying on SNAP benefits, and we're worrying about people being priced out of this community. Having affordable housing lots is important. That's just my personal opinion. And since the town prior had voted to create this overlay, I think only the town can take it away. And unless it comes before the town to do away with the affordable housing overlay, I'm not gonna be the one to say, forget it. You know, people already voted on it, leave it alone.
Mr. Chairman, I do see there's a hand up on the virtual meeting.
Sure.
I believe it's
Maureen's gonna be confused.
Maureen Doherty. Maureen, I think that's you, if you're able to unmute yourself now. Maureen, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
She might be doing it, sorry.
Yeah.
Through, is it through you, Mr. Chair? Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. There might be a little bit of a lag. They may be in town, but they're going probably halfway across the country and back over the internet, so the muting process may take a moment or two as they do it.
Teams.
We should be grateful we're not in politics.
Sure.
We should be grateful we're not in politics.
Unfortunately, there's stuff outside of the Teams meeting that we just can't control.
I'm not sure she's going to be
Well,
able
let's
to.
continue if she
Yeah.
wants to pipe in, she can.
The only thing I will add is
Yes.
to anybody who strongly supports or opposes the disposition of either of these properties for affordable housing purposes has the ability to make the case to town meeting.
To convert it back to.
To sell it, to not sell it, because it needs to go through town meeting.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Charles, you good?
Maureen still hasn't unmuted herself.
Well, we can't wait forever. So let's move ahead and do the motion and then we'll,
Type it.
I don't know.
Okay, so there's two parts of this.
Yep.
9 Patley will be retain and refer, and 21 Bliss will just be to retain.
Correct.
All right, let's give this a go. Mr. Chairman, I move in accordance with bylaw Chapter 5, Section 25B, that the town retain the following parcels and notify requesting individuals accordingly. 21 Bliss Road.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And Mr. Massey has recused himself.
Mr. Chairman, I move in accordance with bylaw Chapter 5, Section 25B, that the town retain the following parcel and retain and refer the following parcel and notify requesting individuals accordingly. 9 Patley Road.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by,
Is that to refer to the planning commission?
Yes. Retain and refer to the planning commission.
Affordable housing? Should
add on to CPC? Just, can you just add on to the?
Mr. Chairman, add on to that, I move that the town retain and refer to the CPC, Community Planning Commission, the following parcel and notify requesting individuals accordingly. 9 Patley Road.
Second.
But we're referring it to them for affordable housing overlay district consideration.
But it's
That's what we're
in-
referring it to.
That's in
Is it all?
the
Huh?
top
But it's-
motion.
Yeah.
Retain and refer
Got it.
CPC for the affordable housing.
Mr. Chairman, I move in accordance with bylaw Chapter 5, Section 25B, that the town retain and refer to the North Reading CPC for the Affordable Housing Overlay District consideration the following parcel and notify requesting individuals accordingly. 9 Patley Road.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And then Mr. Massey has recused himself. Thank you.
3 Carpenter Drive?
Next page. Continue planning.
So we follow the motions. I'm on now page 6. Continue planning, and we obviously just took action with regard to 21 Bliss Road and 9 Patley Road, so I'll take those out of the discussion. For 8 Audubon Road, the request it's for a portion of the land, and so it would require the development of a plan. Generally, that's been done by the inquiring property owner, the inquiring party, so they would develop a draft of an approval not required plan to present to you, showing what they would be looking to acquire, and that could ultimately be utilized to be put out for auction for the property. For 3A Colonial Hill, that one's going to require a vote at town meeting authorization, so that would be the next step for that property.
Just for clarification, why does 3A Colonial Hill requires town authorization?
Because it was not acquired by tax title foreclosure.
Okay.
It was a gift.
Interesting. Other comments about that?
And again, Michael, just in relation to continue planning, okay, so the remarks here as far as retaining a small strip for safety that would be incorporated into the planning discussions and prior to town meeting approval as far as what we'd be authorizing to sell.
In terms of the conditions, you're saying?
Right, it's in terms of the conditions.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
we'd have to figure out how we're gonna put those restrictions in place.
Right.
I mean, whether that's a town meeting vote or that's gonna be done by the board, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Motion, please.
Just to confirm, I will remove 21 Bliss Road and 9 Patley from this one.
Correct.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I move to continue planning and discussions with requesting individuals to dispose of the following parcels. 8 Audubon Road requires a plan. 3A Colonial Hill requires town meeting authorization.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by
3A.
Ms. Moran.
To be clear, you said
Further
3A
comments?
Colonial Hill, is that correct?
Yes.
I did hear, that's what I heard.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And Mr. Massey is recused.
The last motion is to prepare a sale, so these would be properties which we believe were all acquired by tax title foreclosure and would be eligible for auction. So what we would be looking to do is to seek direction that you wish to pursue the potential auction of these properties. And just to review them quickly, 9 Grant Street, that's valued at $5,100, it's .22 acres. And the request was for forest preservation with no future use identified. For 2 Highland Terrace, valued at $308,000, .07 acres It's to enhance the resale value, and it's been used as a backyard for an abutting property. For 4 Highland Terrace, same conditions, slightly larger, .18 acres, at valued at $337,100.
Excuse me, on that one there, I'm looking at the spreadsheet,
Mhm.
it says retain. Number 4, right, Conservation Commission.
Oh, so they conducted a review last Tuesday night, and it does look like they voted to retain. So again, that's additional updated information that has come in the past week that
Okay,
is new to me.
all right, so
So
4
that
should
would
be
be-
retained.
For Highland Terrace.
That would be, need to be excluded here and voted on afterwards as
Right.
retained. 2 Lincoln Street is recommended for sale with conditions to maintain curb appeal, prevent other buyers from acquiring it. It's .28 acres, valued at $374,700. 322 Main Street, .03 acres, valued at $32,100, and that's to make the existing lot have frontage, proper frontage, and access their property, recommended for sale. There isn't a deed in the town's name, so it may be a little more complicated, but we won't know that until we get further along in the process. 16 Quimby Road, valued at $368,300, to be combined with the Harris to build a home. It's asking the town to accept 10 acres on Swan Pond in return, or to build a house. So that one's a little more complicated. Value, again, .23 acres. The recommendation there, though, is actually to retain, and that is from the Conservation Commission. So that's also new. Same for 18 Quimby Road. So they are recommending that you retain 16 and 18 Quimby Road, which would mean, along with 4 Highland Terrace, they would be voted separately. 20 Quimby Road, same thing. They're recommending
Retain.
retain it.
For conservation
So this is new
purposes.
information that I believe happened at their review last Tuesday night. So sorry for not.
Mike, can you explain that? Sorry. Who got involved and why they?
The
Conservation.
Conservation Commission recommended retaining all 3 of those parcels. They had not, I think, provided recent review and did
Okay.
so I believe at their meeting last Tuesday, is that right?
Just on 12 Quimby, so I have very personal.
Yeah. At 16,
16,
18, and 20.
18, 20.
Yeah.
All to be,
Like next door to me.
yeah, they're all being recommended to be retained, it appears, which was not the case 2 weeks ago.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
And also, yes, 0.
And then 0 Railroad Avenue.
Sell
Looks
with
like
conditions.
Sell with conditions, valued at $355,300 at .16 acres. This is to be added to 1 and 3 Railroad Avenue, on which the owner is building 2 house lots. This is a very old request. I'm not sure how current it actually is, but those are the comments, and so it would be prepared for a sale at auction.
For future use.
Okay. Do you have all the
Those-
reps that you mentioned?
So we took 4 properties off of the list for that motion to prepare a sale. 4
These-
Highland, 16, 18, and 20 Quimby.
Very good.
0 Railroad Ave, that's not part of the railroad bed. It's right next door to it, it's not the railroad bed. If you recall the bike trail that cuts right through by these parcels.
Okay,
Um,
I remember that.
You know, you remember that, and I don't know if this is the railroad bed or if it's an adjacent parcel,
So,
because it's .16 acres.
2 motions?
2 motions, Michael, or you okay with
This would be 1,
So we've got 9 Grand Street, 2 Highland, 2 Lincoln,
yes.
322 Main Street, and 0 Railroad Ave would be under the motion for prepare for sale.
Correct, but then we're going to break out a second
And then we're
motion
going
to
have a
retain the others?
Second motion, we'll go back to retain, just like we did on Bliss Road, 21 Bliss.
So we'll add it
So
on.
this 0 Railroad, to be clear, is apparently along the railroad bed.
It's not the railroad bed, though, correct?
I'm looking at the map, I mean, it looks like it's right there.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
I mean, unfortunately, it's up
Zero
against
railroad
privately owned
bed
land,
has-
so.
is designated then by a map as core habitat and critical natural landscape. Should that be not developed
The
then?
conservation decided not to do anything with
The Conservation Commission said,
Conservation said to retain 16, 18, and 20 Quimby Road.
no, I'm talking about zero.
that.
So this
It
is
doesn't say
zero.
anything about Zero Railroad Ave, but
So-
just I'm familiar with the area. There's two,
That's zero
there's three dilapidated homes at the end of Railroad Ave, right along two of them along the riverbed, one at the end of the dead end. The houses are falling down, and someone purchased the property and was going to build a couple of homes there. Just, I'm just thinking again, as we were talking about the old railroad bed.
So that parcel is zero railroad.
Okay, so it looks as though we own it.
And then
Yeah,
there's,
that was part of the rail trail that we were talking about a couple of years ago.
Starts way over there.
Here's the
And it's that spot right there.
And it's these little homes here, I think, are the ones that the butter is looking to purchase. He probably owns across the street too. Again, that's a paper street, Railroad Ave at that point. So that would interrupt any access for future use later on, but
so someone owns 1 and 3, where's 1 and 3?
I believe it's parcel 26, the 2 point,
It
was
is.
it 85 acres? Yeah, that's
big.
that's the parcel that's got 3 small homes that are pretty dilapidated.
Okay.
So that appears
2
to be
anyway,
1, that appears to be 3.
okay.
Okay, so 1, 3, and 0.
I believe so.
0 Railroad Ave is the old railroad, part of the old railroad bed.
And then 23 is another parcel?
That's town-owned land,
It's a different parcel.
but that's town-owned
That
land.
is town-owned land, yeah.
That's town-owned land.
Right.
Yes.
So what you're telling me is
No.
if we sold that, there'd be no bike path going through there ever.
Ever, right.
So if we sell 0, then we have no access to town-owned land beyond that.
Correct, you're landlocking that additional land.
That right in there?
Right.
Landlocked.
It's this, and then this is the railroad bed here.
Yeah, yeah.
But incorporated within this parcel and this parcel is where the old railroad bed used to go through.
Right.
So access to this parcel and the remaining here, there's a little bit that goes out to Park Street, Vernon Street, Park Street area, it'll be over
Yeah.
here. But you'd have no access to this.
So,
So, I mean, if you're gonna sell it, you wanna sell it all. Otherwise, it just has a piece of landlocked
Yeah,
land.
yeah.
I
agreed.
don't think we should sell that, because then that becomes, is it conservation land? What is it?
Well, right now, it's not being utilized at all.
Neither parcel is being used.
Right, and again, the proposal couple of years back, 2 or 3 years back, was to have a rail trail follow the railroad bed through this parcel. Here, the Railroad Ave, across Havel Street, through into River Park. But again, that was abandoned.
Abandoned,
There was a-
rejected?
So far.
So far, it was abandoned. But if you just sell this one little parcel here, we're landlocking 23.
Right.
So if we're okay with selling 0 Railroad Ave, it should be in conjunction with 23 and dispose of the land,
Yeah, do the whole
or
thing.
retain it. That's,
Yeah.
for
But don't
future,
go halfway.
pathway,
Yeah.
when attitudes may change.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep, that makes
Otherwise,
sense.
you're landlocked. Right now, you can access it, this parcel here.
Through
this
that.
one, through the end of Railroad Ave.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I think we ought to retain 0 Railroad Ave unless someone comes out and says that they want to buy 0 and 23.
Right,
Right.
So 0 wouldn't be on the list to sell.
understandable.
but someone wants to buy 1 and 3, so then they can combine the frontage and break it out into 3.
I just would note, I believe there's development that's already happening down there, and that this request predates it, so I don't want to put too much stock
Actually, I went down there
in.
the other day, and nothing's happened down there.
Okay, but there
Right
was
now.
a plan.
I know there's a plan.
This
but-
is a very old request, and
Okay.
there's been a lot said tonight about how long this process has taken, and about 4 years of that is tied to the GLAM calculation and our appeal with the Department of Housing and
Right, that's
Community
what held up
Development.
a lot
So-
of these requests.
So I don't put a ton of stock in the original request based upon what might be out there, but this is along the railroad bed, as has been identified, and it would certainly be, we already don't own the entirety of the railroad bed. That's one of the obstacles to a rail trail, as we know. This would obviously be making that situation worse by selling it.
And forget the rail trail. I'm just looking at why would we landlock another piece of town-owned land which we would have absolutely no use for at any future date? If we're gonna sell it, sell them
Sell
both.
0 and 23 together. I think we
Right.
have to retain 0 for now.
Right, until we
Someone
determine
comes along and wants to buy all of it.
what other use might be.
Yeah,
Maybe the abutter, hearing what we're saying, would have an interest in purchasing both of them in order to effectuate what they're looking to do.
But it's also designated as a core habitat and critical natural landscape.
What, 0?
Yes. Under Conservation Commission notes, it says, a portion of the parcel is designated in biomap as both core habitat and critical natural landscapes. A very small portion of the parcel is in riverfront area.
That's 23.
What are they saying?
That's 0.
What are they saying?
And again, they didn't, it says sell with conditions, I don't know what the conditions are.
That's
For
0 railroad
conservation,
debit.
recreation. Again, these are in the lengthy notes that were provided to us this evening, along with.
The recommendation was sell with conditions that no alteration shall occur without a current resource area delineation and as appropriate, a Concom permit. So,
But that still doesn't address parcel 23.
no, 23 was not reviewed. Wasn't requested, wasn't reviewed.
But seeing how the geometry of the parcels on the map, if we sell 0, 23 is just sitting there and be forever no man's land.
So how about if we refer this to the Conservation Commission for further review with the other parcel included and determine if we want to move forward or not,
It's not a bad idea.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the rail trail issue is resolved for the moment, but aside from that, if this wasn't even the rail trail, I'd be reluctant to just sell this one and landlock the rest of it.
Yeah, why
Right.
would we do that? Yeah.
Right, so it would only be, again, if you look at the direct letters, there's one here, but this one here is huge acreage,
Yeah.
and the rest of it's riverbank. And again, you have no access to it. So if at some future date, Parks and Rec or Conservation want to have some sort of an area for people to go and listen to the birds,
Yeah.
we have no access for it,
Oh.
other than through private property.
And that's not going to work.
Ms. Mullin has a comment.
No, I just said, if we sell 0 Railroad Ave, we now have no access to this parcel 23 at all. Right now, we have access to the end of Railroad Ave. So I'm saying why would we sell off 0 and then landlock a piece of land here? And again, we don't have any particular use for it at this particular time, other than conservation purposes. But if you had a passive recreation area, something like that, at least you'd have access to it if we hold 0 Railroad Ave. Otherwise, sell both of them and get it back on the tax rolls. But it's a habitat been identified as a, what was the designation here? Core habitat and critical
Core
natural
habitat and
landscapes.
Critical natural landscape.
So, I'm just not in favor of landlocking ourselves and not having access to.
We don't have to, let's not do it.
So, but again, I think we should refer it to
Conservation and.
Conservation for their suggestions as to if we're going to sell it, what would they suggest we put on for conditions?
Okay. There's one.
So,
We'll strike 0,
so refer.
refer to conservation.
For further review.
Each underway.
Ready for a motion?
Yep.
All right, let's do part one of this. Mr. Chairman, I move to prepare the sale of the following parcels, subject to a final vote of the board to establish terms and conditions at a future meeting. 9 Grant Street, 2 Highland Terrace, 2 Lincoln Street, 322 Main Street, and that's it.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And Mr. Massey is recused.
Mr. Chairman, I move to retain the following parcels, subject to a final vote of the board to establish terms and conditions at a future meeting.
No.
No, the same motion you had for Bliss Road.
To retain and refer to.
Excuse me, Bliss
No,
Road,
you
not Bliss, I'm sorry.
The first one, the
19
motion to
Bliss.
retain, the motion to retain 3 Carpenter Drive, I think is the one you want to look at. That says clean retain.
Clean
Right.
retain, yes, yep.
4 Highland, 16, 18, and 20 Quimby. And again, as I understand it, these were reviewed by the Conservation Commission last Tuesday, and only then did we get a recommendation not to sell them. So if you read the motion for 3 Carpenter, but instead substitute 4 Highland, 16, 18, and 20 Quimby, that'll achieve what I think you're looking at.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I move, in accordance with bylaw Chapter 5, Section 25B, that the town retain the following parcels and notify requesting individuals accordingly. 4 Highland Terrace, 16 Quimby Road, 18 Quimby Road, 20 Quimby Road.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And Mr. Massey is recused. And then one for Railroad Ave, right?
No, we just voted to retain. Oh, yes,
No, we have to vote.
We have to refer,
yeah, we're going to refer that one.
so we're going to refer Railroad.
Mr. Chairman, I move to refer to the Conservation Commission for further review.
Just do the same as, is that what we did for Patley Road?
Yeah.
So it was same in accordance with the bylaw, up.
Same as which one,
Move to
please?
retain and refer to the CPC. So the 21 Bliss Road and 9 Patley Road motion,
Yep.
just put in there, move in accordance with the bylaw, Chapter 5, Section 25B, that the town retain and refer to the Conservation Commission for further review, 0 Railroad Ave.
That's exactly what I just did, okay. Mr. Chairman, I move to refer.
No, in accordance with the bylaw, Chapter 5.
Oh, bloody hell. Mr. Chairman, I move in accordance with bylaw Chapter 5, Section 25B, that the town refer, to retain and refer to the Conservation Commission for further review, 0 Railroad Avenue.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And Mr. Massey recused.
Is that all of it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important, Mr. Chairman, to just reiterate that the delay in handling most of these requests, again, for such a long period of time, was precipitated by the 40B application down on 20 Elm Street, where we had we thought we were protected under the current rules and regulations from that development, but they changed the rules midstream, so we had this glam issue. And at the time, the board decided not to retain all town-owned land because that factored into whether or not we had to go with the 40B or not. Since that has passed, again, it did lag a little bit longer than it should have, but that was the initial reason why it's lagged so long.
Mr. Chair, what is GLAM?
GLAM is
The general land
Land.
area minimum. So it's a percentage calculation where if you don't have 10% of your affordable housing units affordable under the state's requirements, if you have a certain land area dedicated to affordable housing
Or open
or
space.
owned by the town for municipal purposes, it all factors into a calculation that at one point showed us as being compliant with Chapter 40B and having met the minimum criteria, not for number of units, but for the amount of land we had based on this denominator and numerator equation. So while that was being adjudicated, we were receiving requests but not acting on them because
Got it.
the more land the less land we owned, the more it put us out of compliance for that
Got it.
percentage.
Okay.
And in the end,
They
we
changed
were
the rules.
roomed entirely to be out of compliance, even in the best case of scenarios.
So we were in compliance before we weren't in compliance. They changed the rules midstream.
Because they're trying to create more
Because they're
opportunities
looking
for
to
affordable housing.
provide
Got it.
affordable housing. Right. Yep.
Makes sense.
So initially, we were in compliance because of what we had.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
let's move on. Let's see. Limited adult use delivery of marijuana and marijuana products. Prohibition pursuant to Chapter 65 of the Acts of 2026. This is a discussion.
Mr. Chairman, through you, you have in your packet both a primer from KP Law, Town Council, with regard to changes in the way cannabis, marijuana are regulated in Massachusetts. One of the things that has occurred is that there is language in state law that, as we understand it, states that for a community such as North Reading, which has a prohibition on retail sale of marijuana, that delivery would be allowed in North Reading unless we seek a waiver to prohibit delivery. And I would just juxtapose that with maybe some language that wasn't as clear previously, where we would get requests from companies asking to deliver in North Reading, and our response would be, we have a prohibition on retail sale and by extension delivery. So if we were asked a question, that's how we responded. That was with, I believe, guidance from Town Council going back a few years. Now the law has been changed. The default, it appears, is that delivery would be allowed unless we were to file notice with the Cannabis Control Commission that we're seeking a prohibition, a waiver that would prohibit delivery. And so this was placed on there after discussion with the chair for an initial discussion. I think some of the thinking was if we were going to actually pursue the waiver, that we might want something more formal than just this discussion for feedback from the public, but understanding that without the waiver, it would appear that delivery may be permitted here in town.
Got it.
Hopefully that's a clear explanation. That's about as much as I can offer at this point.
Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes.
At this point, do we have any guidance from the police department on this? I would be curious as to the chief's opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a number of folks that could provide feedback with regard to this. So when we had discussion about requests for sale here in town, to, for the ability to sell, there was a lot of folks who provided feedback. So if we want to submit a request for more feedback, we certainly can do so. But I don't think the thinking in putting this on the agenda was to make a decision tonight. It was instead to open the discussion.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, it appears based upon the information provided by the Cannabis Control Commission, that if we're going to, is it opt in or opt out? Opt out again. It appears as though we'd have to do it every 2 years. So municipalities that do not permit retail marijuana establishments, which is the town of North Reading. A few years back, there were ballot questions where medical marijuana and retail sales were both on the ballot. Medical establishments were approved, and there's a district under our zoning that allows for it. And then retail sales was not approved. So we're one of those communities that do not permit retail marijuana establishments. May request a waiver from the commission. So right now the law allows deliveries to take place, to prohibit delivery activity within the jurisdiction for up to 2 years, with the ability to request renewal in an up to 2-year increments. I don't know how this would be enforceable, but anyway, and I'm sure it takes place already.
I mean, if it's like ordering other controlled substances online from, another jurisdiction or another state, you'd have to provide your shipping address, and if that state prohibits the export across state lines, the retailer's supposed to tell you, no, you can't have it. For large retail outlets.
Right.
You know, if you have a messenger bike that just goes and drives up 28 and shows up and gives, here's your pot, you can't really enforce that.
Is this medicinal and recreational?
Yes.
Both. Okay.
So just to be clear, the initial response that the police chief did provide was, agreeing with the town planner who suspected that, we might want to pursue a hearing, but also that it was pretty reasonable, although it should be discussed at a public meeting. That's a very initial response. That does not necessarily reflect feedback from the Youth Substance Abuse Coalition, the Community Impact Team, other folks who weighed in. They've not been asked at this point in time,
Okay.
so we certainly could provide that request out to them as well.
Could we decide to make it medicinal only and not?
I'm not aware that you can.
So it's all or nothing. Yeah.
I feel like a
No, this is
public
social
hearing is
consumption.
going to be
This is a waiver form for social consumption only. This is
social
not
consumption.
medical.
Not medical at all.
I don't know whether, I don't know what the law requires for medical, honestly, one way or the other. And maybe it's in that primer, I'm not sure, but.
Yep.
Decide. Fine. Just down to
So
recreational
this
use.
is just for recreation,
Yeah.
social consumption.
Discussion time, anybody? Thoughts about it?
I think we should ask for additional input from the appropriate boards, committees, commissions, and police department.
Yep.
Before we make a final determination of whether to seek the waiver or not. And once that's gleaned, have a public meeting to air what those
Hear it out.
suggestions and recommendations are to us. So I think we should just refer to the administration to get recommendations from the appropriate bodies before we make a determination.
Is there a timeline? We have to have this done by?
The guidance came out very recently, but other than it lasts for 2 years, I'm not sure when the delivery
Okay.
might begin.
All right. I'm just wondering while we're figuring things out, if it'd be, it's open season on North Reading. All right, anybody else? Anything?
No, I was just going to say what Mr. O'Leary said. We should get more input before. Yep.
I agree, public hearing, because
Yep.
I think warranted in this case. Mr. Mullen has a
I
question.
would please request that we go back to, I would request that we go back to CIP, especially in the reports that have our work before on this, we can sort of, voice some different issues, we should be up to date on these regulations.
Mhm.
We want to get ready to speak to the CIP and the public. Thank you.
I think most importantly, sort of forewarning the public that this discussion is coming. So,
Right.
Like it or not.
both sides.
Like it or not, yeah. Okay.
Those who may support, those who may oppose.
Unless anybody else has anything else, I think, yeah, have the right people review it, and let's see what they have to say. Okay. Is that good, Michael?
Yep.
Okay.
So we are fortunate that the town received $210,000 in state winter,
Winter Recovery Assistance
Winter
Program?
Recovery Assistance Program funding, yeah, it's right on the agenda, right? So we're thankful to the state delegation, Representative Jones, Senator Tarr, and to the state administration for making this funding available. When this funding comes in, there's basically two options for how we can handle it. The first is to to let it close out to free cash, which would mean it would come in as a fiscal year 2027 receipt and not be available for our use until free cash is certified sometime in the early fall, late summer, early fall of 2027. So that's more than a year away. Talking with the finance director, I think our thinking is that if we reserve the funds, it could be made available for our use during fiscal year 2027, so nearly a year earlier, particularly if we have another challenging winter for snow and ice removal, because we covered our deficit, which this was addressed and intended to help us address. We covered it with free cash prior to this allocation, being made available to us. So I think our thinking is, if the board votes to classify the funds and reserve them, then we have them available if we need them to balance the winter of 2026-27 deficit should one arise. So that's a recommendation. That's our thinking.
Okay.
And I believe we prepared a motion.
Sounds pretty straight ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move to reserve $210,972.24 in state winter recovery assistance program funds and a special revenue fund.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, so I sent everybody select board member liaison assignments. Tried to maintain consistency with what you had previously, and tried to consider, like Charles coming in, you've got 3 years ahead of you, so thinking long-term, on some of the committees you have. So I think it was done fairly, and looking forward to moving ahead. Sorry it's taken so long to get it together. This should happen a long time ago. And by the way, as you become a liaison to whatever committee you are, unless you're a voting member, you're really there to observe and to, provide information back and forth. But your goal is not to overly influence what's going on in the meeting. And this is something I have to remind myself of, is you're not running the meeting. You're there to, support, give advice, and also bring back to us information that you learned from your committee that we all need to know. So that's the other thing, is we can't be all in one. There's a lot of committees. We can't all be in all of them, but we have to depend on each other to learn information and share it with everybody else, so we stay up on top of the issues that are going on. I'll even go so far as to say, if you have something that you're particularly proud of going on within your committee, come to me and say, I'd really like them to come in and give us a 10-minute presentation about what they're doing. Love to hear it. I think it'd be great to hear it. So I don't think our volunteers get enough attaboys, and we could do a little better on that. So one of the best ways they can do that is to come forward and share with us what they're doing. So consider that an open invite, and just talk to me about it when you want. Otherwise, let's just move on and do the motions.
Mr. Chairman, what page can I find this liaison assignments on?
Sorry, I'm only looking at the motions right now.
It's
Motions are on
Page 61 in the main
61
packet.
in the main packet.
I'm just staying on the motions themselves.
Do any of you want to take the Cultural Council?
Which ones?
Cultural Council?
I didn't hear what you said.
Cultural.
Cultural Council. What does the Cultural Council do?
They have a budget, and then they have people apply to them to pay for cultural events in North Reading. It's a lot of fun group. Last time I saw it was like 12 or 15 people who do it, and they have fun, allocating, talking to the culture people who do arts, music, theater, and then they allocate that money as they see best fit throughout the year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I made very few requests. You and I spoke a little bit about
Yep.
liaison assignments. You asked if someone else could take one that I've been on, I said, of course, but I'd like to make sure that I can also request to be on different ones. This is now my third straight year asking to be on the Capital Improvement Planning Committee. This is no disrespect to yourself or
Yeah.
Mrs. Marin at all.
No, the problem there is it's daytime meetings.
What does that mean?
What?
What does that mean?
Well, you've told us in the past that meeting during the day, you can't do that.
That's fine.
That's,
Whatever you want to do.
it's
At the
not
end of the
whatever I
day.
want. I mean, I have to be practical. I mean, we have to show up, it's like 2-3 hour meetings.
Yeah, I know.
So I was respecting your, you have a job. Unfortunately, I get to move some hours around, but that's hard too. I spend a lot of Saturdays making up for it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the,
Just a quick question, Mr. Chairman, then,
Sure.
do these committees, like, they'll loop us in when there's a meeting?
yeah, what you should do is, once we're all set here, is reach out to all of them. Reach out to the chair of each of them, let them know that you're the liaison
Okay,
and that you'd like to be involved.
Okay.
And usually what they'll do is put you on the email, and if you have, like on the I gave you a lot of transportation stuff. You want to get involved with that right away. That's a big objective. And that's why I had you on that, because you're here for the next 3 years.
right.
And so you can help out Lil a lot with that.
And just how would I get the name of all these chairs? How can I?
You can actually go to the website. They're right on the
Yeah,
website.
Okay.
Jen, the administration.
We'll
will provide
notify everybody that
Oh,
that
okay.
hasn't always been the case the past year or two. We've been,
No, it hasn't.
Usually I just do it
we've been
myself.
doing that.
but, Yeah.
So just
That's
let
fine.
the
If you want to let them know,
process.
that's great.
I mean, in the past, it was on the board members to make contact, but we've started to notify them in advance to let them know.
We're going to do both.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Mr. Chairman, while we're talking about committees, I'd like to bring something else up as well. I think we spoke about, well, first of all, facilities master plan just dropped right off here before we disbanded it. And then we have actually on the agenda to appoint for facilities master plan.
I
So
thought facilities.
don't
master-
necessarily follow that. But historical district commission and historical commission, can those be combined? Are there any committees here that, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I think half of these committees don't even meet. I mean, I've been here 2 years, some of these haven't met once, I know that for a fact. Can we be a little bit more efficient at secondary school building committee is another one. I'd say I thought that project was closed.
It's not closed yet, yeah, we're just waiting for the final closeout, but, so there'll be one more
Committee's
action
still
to take.
needed? The committee's still needed?
We will meet once the closeout is given, and then we'll be done.
Any thought, Mr. Chairman, on anything I just mentioned, no?
Why don't we relook at it with you and I, and even look at your assignments specifically?
Sure.
Okay.
Motion?
No motion for that one.
13.
There
Yeah,
are
there are
appointments
some
to
of them
the
are voting
Capital
members.
Improvement Planning Committee, Economic Development Committee. Mr. Massey is correct, Facilities Master Plan Committee was a holdover from last year, so when we copied the agenda, we must have not deleted that, so you can ignore that one.
I deleted it off of mine.
And then Fire Station Building Committee and Taxation Aid.
That reflects what I sent to you, right?
Yeah, no, your listing's correct. The agenda posted that there was
Oh,
a
okay,
Facility Master
okay,
Plan
yeah,
Committee, which
yeah.
there is not.
All right, so we're on number 13?
Just looking at,
Oh, sorry.
just looking at your list here, the Taxation Aid Committee, you have two names.
Well, it
What-
shouldn't be two names, it should be one.
Right. So I see
Is that a mistake?
Dick's name, and I see Charles's name on the list here, but on the motion here.
Why would
Yeah,
I?
that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. That was specifically
Okay, so then,
Nick Massey on tax
so
aid
then
committee.
you're up.
That's what I typed out.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have you on, Nick, for tax aid committee. Apparently, that didn't, we'll correct it as we
No,
go through this.
it's in the motion here, but on the listing, it's got Charles as a voting member.
But I sent you all liaison, did I not send it to you?
I didn't get it.
Did I not send it?
This is
No,
the first
so
I'm seeing it
I guess I
tonight.
expected it to be in here,
Okay,
as I produced.
so I'm not on the taxation, that's a mistake.
Correct.
You're not on the tax aid committee.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
You're on the list, but you've been struck.
Would you like to be on the
Sorry,
functional
I'm not sure why it
council
got
instead?
mixed up. All right, let's try to get through it.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Catherine Moran and Rich Wallner to the Capital Improvement Planning Committee for terms to expire May 4th, 2027.
Second?
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be voting no. Nothing, again, I truly mean nothing against Mrs. Marin, but to you and Mr. O'Leary, you've seen me ask this for 3 straight years. You guys don't even care to call me or talk to me about it, so if you want to talk about my availability, you can call me. But I'm voting no.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Mr. Massey. Okay.
Move forward.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Richard Wallner as voting member to the Economic Development Committee for a term to expire May 4th, 2027.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Looking forward to, sorry, Mr. Chairman, just looking forward to hearing something from the EDC.
Yeah, see if we can get a meeting together. Okay, motion by, yes, Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Massey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Nicholas Massey to the Fire Station Building Committee for a term to expire May 4th, 2027.
Thank you for changing that. It's different here. Motion by, oh, wait for a second.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Nicholas Massey to the Taxation Aid Committee for a term to expire May 4th, 2027, and to waive Select Board Policy 3.7.
Second?
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None. Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Michael Connolly and Jennifer Leanders as the school committee representatives to the Capital Improvement Planning Committee for a term to expire May 4th, 2027.
Second?
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following individuals for appointment to the Veterans Event Committee for an associate term to expire December 31st, 2027. 2 openings. Timothy Corcoran.
Second?
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary.
This will be a roll call vote,
Okay,
with the name stated.
yeah, thank you. Okay, Mr. Massey?
Aye.
You have to say his name.
Timothy Cochran?
Yeah. Ms. Moran?
Timothy Corcoran?
Mr. Tyler?
Timothy Cochran.
Mr. O'Leary?
Timothy Cochran.
And Mr. Wallner, Timothy Conklin. That's it.
Legal bills.
Is it straight to the motion, or is there a discussion on this?
No, I think it's,
These are the final 3 legal bills of the year for April, May, and June.
Gotcha. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for KP Law for the month of April in the amount of $29,146.24 as follows. General, $13,928.74. Labor, $4,488. 20 Elm Street, 40B, $10,729.50 for a total of $29,146.24.
Second.
Okay. It's a motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None? Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for KP Law for the month of May in the amount of $18,056.91 as follows. General, $17,470.41. Labor, $586.50. 20 Elm Street, 40B, $0. Total, $18,056.91.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for KP Law for the month of June in the amount of $16,718.02 as follows. General, $14,219.05. Labor, $2,499. 20 Elm Street, 40B, $0. Total, $16,718.02.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Ms. Moran. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None. Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the regular session minutes for the June 15th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Second. Motion by Mr.
15th or 25th?
Sorry.
There's two.
Motion,
Did you do the 15th or the 25th? What'd you just do?
This one says 15th.
15th, okay.
The
Yeah,
next
that's what I
one
said.
will be the 25th.
motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Nick Massey. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, sorry.
So the dates aren't lining up right here. Okay, I see what it is.
so for the, Mr. Massey, I think you had changes for the date of June 25th. Did you not have changes for the June 15th open session?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, through you, whichever edits I proposed on whichever date were probably the date that I proposed the edits on.
It's the 25th.
I'll look further.
It was the 25th, and that's in the supplemental packet. The 15th is in the regular open packet.
That's what
The
we're looking
the amended, the proposed amended for the 25th is in the supplemental.
Okay. So I won't direct you to look at the supplemental, but you'll need to for the next motion.
at. Okay. So are we good on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you already read this one.
I did. Do we have a consensus on June 15th?
I think
Do we have a second?
I think we do.
I had motion by myself, seconded by Nick Massey.
Okay.
Okay,
Now we need a vote.
okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None? So we're good on that one.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the regular session minutes for the June 25th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
As provided in the supplemental.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to abstain. I was not present for the meeting.
You're going to abstain?
I wasn't here.
This is as provided in the supplemental meeting packet, not the regular one, correct?
Yeah, there was changes suggested by Mr. Massey, which are in red for the June 25th minutes, and then I added my comments in blue. They're in the supplemental 7/6/2026 open session.
So we're under supplemental open or supplemental
Yes.
motions?
Supplemental open,
Supplemental,
page 37.
37. guess I'd like another meeting to review it. These corrections take time and energy to like figure out. So if that's okay, I'd like to just bypass this for now.
I don't know what the intent was behind them, but they look like they might be more appropriately placed on the June 15th meeting. I'm just rereading them. It seems to be a discussion about setting the fee, and that didn't happen on the 25th, that happened on the 15th. So I know you just voted the 15th, but it looks like I didn't write the original comments, I only corrected where I didn't think they were accurate, but it looked.
It's 25th on the next meeting.
So we didn't talk fee at the June 25th?
Well, you had already set the fee.
Because we'd already
so-
set it.
And again, I didn't write the comments, I just responded to them.
Any comment, Mr. Massey, so we know what's going on?
No comments.
Yeah, so just put it 25th on the next meeting.
All right. Okay, we're just going to skip that for now.
We're skipping that one for now?
What's that?
We're skipping that one
We're
for
gonna
now?
skip that, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we're good, Mike? Mike, we're going to skip that.
Okay.
Anything to report?
Yes, two things. So first, we have been going back and forth with Casella with regard to the contract in the wake of our hearing on June 15th, and then the follow-up discussion happened on June 25th. The only thing of note that I will cite is that they are not going to be changing the baseline fuel rate at, I believe, $4 per gallon, nor will they be decreasing the 5% per year escalator. And that appears to have been the case not just for us, but for 2 other communities that they are working with for renewal as well, unfortunately. So I know we had said that that's something we were going to try to work on. We pushed as hard as we could. I will note that the DPW director had reported that Republic's proposal also included a 5% per year increase, so it appears there's something that's market-driven that's going on there with regard to that. But short of that, my intention would be to execute the agreement once it's in final form this week. But just did want to let folks know we did push on those 2 items, but they are not going to change.
Yeah, I checked with Joe too, he told me the same thing. We actually looked at other towns and they were at 5%,
Yes.
escalation.
The only other thing is that we did receive a request for executive session minutes that will require review by the board, just on the way it came in. Last week, we were not able to conduct the review for the board to consider the minutes at tonight's meeting, so I would recommend that rather than wait until the July 20th meeting, we were supposed to have done this for tonight's meeting. So if we can schedule a special meeting to do that as soon as possible, I'd like to do that. It could be done, virtually only. We could do it early in the morning, we could do it in the evening, we could do it midday. I do know some of us have conflicts coming up. I believe we have a financial planning team meeting scheduled for Friday. It was going to originally be last Friday, so that's this Friday morning, I believe.
Yeah, we do, on the 10th.
Do it before the financial planning?
Yeah, we
Virtually?
could do it, early. It could do it at 7:30.
Do 7:30 on Friday morning?
Yeah. 7:30 Friday morning?
This Friday morning?
Yes.
Remotely?
Yeah, virtually only.
That's all virtual. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to read all the minutes beforehand.
And we're just doing the stuff that Austin is
It
looking
would just be to consider the request for the minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yep.
Okay, so 7:30.
And unfortunately, it's going to take what it's going to take for us to review it. We'll do our best. As soon as we have it done, we'll make it available to you. The request was it's not a secret, the request was with regard to minutes where 97 Main Street was discussed in executive session, so I think much of them will be handled the same, whatever the board decides. There may be some variation based upon attorney-client privilege or things like that, but otherwise, on the whole, I think so goes one, so goes probably many of them. But there are many, as you know, because there were many executive sessions. It's going to take some time for us to review. But we're committed to doing it.
So 7:30 to 8?
7:38.
Yes.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Ready to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No one. Unanimous.